Sonia, if you could find pieces of rhymes going away, see if you could get Alderman Burnett calling him the Hebrew homie.
Alright.
I'm going to send you guys a rundown.
I was getting so fun. But it was nice to see, like, human side of the law.
What's up, y'all? Take a moment, share the broadcast. What's up, Ryan Boyd? See what else am I doing? Go to YouTube. What up, y'all? How you feeling? Seems like we finally got it right. Let's go to Maze Jackson. Let's go to live. Let's go to share. Let's go to watch. Morning. All right, y'all. I'm rocking and rolling. Valfrey, you ain't come to the meeting. I'm a little upset with you. Again, it's all right, though. What up, Tiger? What up, Clifton Pierce? Clifton, you said I could be an OG. What's up, man? Let me know where the OG meeting at. I'm just playing. I hope everything is well with you. What up, Hassan El Amin? What up, Ron Boyd? What's going on, y'all? Take a moment, share the broadcast. Thanks, Rod Crowder, for the share. What up, Felicia Gaywood? Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I think I done found me a setup, y'all, that I don't have to keep doing a whole bunch of adjusting. What up, GWJ? Man, you be okay. You can't sleep through the revolution. That's all right, though. I see you, Val. It's okay. It's all right. Now, you know if it's anybody that needs some sleep, it's your man, Maze Jackson. What up, Cedric? Hey, y'all. Just a few days to the Game of Thrones. They did too much on Game of Thrones Day. So it's the Jackie Robinson game at the Cubs. It's Wingfest and it's Game of Thrones. I think that I am just going to... Whoa, Game of Thrones. Can I tell y'all what? 1 hour extra sleep changes the game. All right, Insane Wayne. What up, Jeff Rollins? What up, T. Renee? What up, y'all? Take a moment to share the broadcast. Share the broadcast. Who rocking with us? Good morning, Susan Nye Black. What up, Michelle Flagg? What? Kim Bennett, wake up. Kim, what's up, man? You got to tell Madam President she got to come on back to the show now. Come on home. Shout out to, I got you, Jeff. What up, Julian Sample? Y'all know anybody put me on the transition team? They did put Carrie on the transition team. Why y'all? I want to be on the transition team for black folks. I want to be on the transition team and I want to be on the Black People Committee. That's what I want to be on. I want to be in the office of what is in it for the black people. Right? Man, I want to go to the county board and I want to see us double down. Get back black. What up, Sarah Ware? What up, Ivan Burnett? See, I think it's important that she come back sooner rather than later, and reaffirm that what happened wasn't a fluke and that she'll be here. All right?
Don't you brush your teeth in the morning?
Oh, she talking about you. What up?
So, Dapper Dan and them said they can't accommodate us now when I asked them for a celebrity.
We don't need a celebrity. We can't just do them.
I said, just do it. They said, well, we can't accommodate your work schedule. I'm seeing it now. I think people are just so petty. You know,
Wait, we said we.
when I asked when they said they could do it, and did I need an executive to come on with him? Remember I told you that?
Right.
I said, yeah, if he can't, you know, if he needs somebody to come on with him, I don't care. You know, but then, you know, when you told me, can we get somebody that he dresses, you know what I mean? I went back for that.
But did he feel like?
And
Did
then
you
they
think
came
he?
back and said, oh, we can't accommodate your schedule. Like,
Oh, maybe he felt like we was trying to, that he wasn't the star. I mean, I wanted him to be the star.
I'm just sitting here. Hey, Todd. Hey.
Take a moment, share the broadcast. I'll be back. What's up,
Hey.
President Todd?
Hey, Wayne.
Yeah, I'm like super fired up about my re-engineered setup. So now I think I really don't have to do too much. Sit down for a second, so I could. When you sit down, just want to test my setup, make sure I'm in the right camera spots. Oh, that's perfect. Look at that. Nobody looks crazy. Now you don't look as small. You perfect in the shot. And now my YouTube videos will look much more reasonable as well.
I play at 5'8".
Hmm?
That's
You
why.
play at 5'8", you put them things in your shoes?
No lifts.
My mama told me you better shop around.
Oh, Sonya, call Joe Walsh. 8 o'clock.
Shop around.
If not, yeah, okay, but I want to just make sure that we do our part. See, now I don't have to do too much moving around. Whoa, you better shop around. I really wish that, you know, it's like the simplest thing sometimes. I really wish that somebody would just go to the store and buy the correct size bolt for these. And then just-
sounds simple.
It just, if you bought the correct size bolt, if you shorten this by 1/4 of an inch, this would move none. If they shorten that one, I'm scared that the thing at the hole is gonna get so big by the wobble
Exactly.
that they're not
You don't want
gonna
to
be
destroy
able
the
to.
thread.
Right, and then they're gonna have to buy a whole new fitting. It's like you could buy a 50-cent screw.
I did learn that when I started working on my house. Oh, some of this stuff is actually easy.
Featuring Maze Jackson.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
The WVON Morning Show. Call 773-591-1690. Wake up!
What up, y'all? Take a moment, share a broadcast. No more backwards thinking, time for thinking ahead. From what it used to be. What up, Kelvin Russell? Who's rocking with us on YouTube? Shout out to Sheila. Good morning. Oh ho. Man, y'all, I slept 1 extra hour, and can I tell y'all how much difference my life is? Good morning to my beautiful and lovely wife, all the way from Washington, D.C., up and shaking and baking. Hey, baby. Love you. Have a great day. What up, Brenda Rogers? No. What up, Alvin? Wake up, Chicago. It's the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson, and sitting in with me is my co-host, Todd Stroger. Todd, how you feeling this morning?
Excellent. Good morning, Maze and WVON family.
You know what? Did I forget to say wake up to the world? I was supposed to say, wake up, Chicago. Wake up, world. This is the WVON Morning Show. You know what? I was so busy looking around, checking to see what was going on, that I actually missed my cue. But you know what? I'm going to get this thing on point. Now, you know what? I'm missing another cue because we are waiting for Annette. She is running. Is that her on the runway? Like, you ever seen somebody running across the tarmac?
Never.
Not right. Well, in WVON world, I'm gonna tell you, Annette is somewhere flying across a runway trying to get here. So in the meantime, I'm gonna say what's up to the WVON Morning Show, the rest of the Morning Show team. What's up to the Wonder Twins, Sonia Escobar and Sonia Tompkins? How you ladies feeling today? Y'all feeling good? Y'all feeling all right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell y'all what. It is going to be a good day. It is Thursday, April 11th, and we are doing our thing. You know what? So is it me or did yesterday, was it 70 degrees the day before? And then it became like, it went to 70 minus 35, and it was 35 degrees. Man, you know I went up to go record Uncomfortable Conversations yesterday, and I go up to Elk Grove Village to record that time.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know I saw actual snowflakes?
Yeah, I saw a picture with some cars with snow on it, and caption like, really?
Like, you know what, like, really, dude? Like,
Yeah.
For real, man. I'm thinking, like, the kids go on spring break next week, and they got snow. I remember that happened to me April 9th, 1983. We were going to Lake Geneva for our class field trip, and we were going to stay overnight. And it was the
Bolingbrook is much different than the rest.
Show is.
It is, yes.
Lincoln Park Zoo,
You know,
Right.
well, no, we didn't go to Lincoln. We went to Lincoln Park. We went to Brookfield Zoo. I hated going to Lincoln Park because I'd be like, it ain't nothing there. But anyway,
Brookville is the big daddy.
I remember a snowstorm where we got like at least a foot of snow. Like in April, and I never underestimate the month of April. But again, they're telling us we're supposed to get up to 70 today. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, yeah, I did hear that. Yeah, it's supposed to get really warm, which is fine with me. I'm all for it. I've had enough of 30, 40, 50.
You know, I be doing the white boy. Like, as soon as it turned 40 degrees, shorts and flip-flops. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be like, I'm going to get my white boy on today. Hey, y'all, it's the WVON Morning Show. It looks like Annette Flournoy is now in the newsroom. So, Annette, how you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling great. This is one of those mornings where I got to a certain point and realized that I forgot my cell phone. And it was the point of my return. Actually, I returned anyway.
You returned.
Yeah, yes, that call me on my cell phone. I can make you put your phone down.
And so we're going to be looking at a high today of 67.
Oh, 67. So,
That's pretty hot.
But that, with a little bit of sunshine, the way the wind blows, it may make it to 70.
just, you know what? Well, I'm going to tell y'all
I'm
what.
going home and turn my heat off. That's what
You turn your heat off. You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to get on the smoker today. I think I'm going to get on the smoker. I think I'm going to throw me a couple slabs on that bad boy.
You know what? I'm going to do that too. I have a slab at home that I bought, just hoping it would get up to 60 something.
No, you didn't freeze it, did you?
No, it was frozen. Now it's defrosted in the.
You froze your meat, man.
No, it was when I bought it. It was like that.
You bought a frozen slab, man. Todd, I'm
Come
not. You
on.
know what? Are you one of the you can't make the potato salad or the ribs guys?
I
Yeah,
don't,
you
I don't eat potato salad.
See, that's your problem, man. See, there it is. All right, y'all, let's get this thing to 50,000 feet. It's the WVON Morning Show, Soul Plane. As we get to 50,000 feet, it's a good thing this is not a spaceship. because if it was a spaceship, we might get sucked into a black hole. Did you see that, Todd? I know we're kind of like, I know that's probably like geek radio, but I am like super fired up that I saw an actual picture of a black hole.
I didn't actually see the picture. I heard them talking about it, and they said pretty much it was like all the movie black holes. So I guess I have seen one already.
Well, you know what? It is well, I was excited to see it. And, you know, my thing is, how do you take a picture of that without getting sucked into it? Because, like, the black hole, it seems like the most fearsome thing in the whole universe. Because once you go into the black hole, but I always think, like, if you go into the black hole, maybe I watched too many of those movies, and you come out on the other end, you'll be, like, on Earth Part 2. And it'll be like everything is in reverse. You know what I mean? Like Bizarro World. Right. Remember that? Like Bizarro Superman. All right, look. Check.
And I just want to say shout out to the scientists who actually had the image for us.
Yes.
Katie Uman?
Was from University of Illinois, too.
She was only 29.
Go ahead. You know what? Girl power, girl schmower. I'm telling y'all better be careful with this girl power stuff. Y'all are going to find out that, you all are gonna find. I'm telling y'all, we are rapidly pushing towards this Handmaid's Tale. I'm telling y'all gotta watch this. I'm telling you have to watch it. All right, Lincoln Yards, as we suspected yesterday, went through. Todd, I want to talk about this because you know the Lincoln Yards. I think Mayor Lightfoot got the first taste of strong counsel. And I'm gonna tell you that I think she should have just she should have done the same thing Kim Foxx did.
What's that?
Recused herself and stayed out of it.
Oh.
Stayed out of it. Just let it be, let it go, because it's like, you know, I feel like Rahm did the you sure? You said this is what you want? You sure you don't want to pass this multi-billion-dollar deal as you look at the fact that you are going to have to raise $1 billion in taxes? Okay, we're going to let it sit on it. Now you tell them who did it. And in the meantime, in the stroke of with the ring of a phone, Lori Lightfoot found herself on the other side of reform, like with one fatal move. She could have been like, this Todd is where you see political inexperience come in. So it's going to be very important to see who Lori Lightfoot puts on her team. And now what I'm thinking is Lori Lightfoot learning that she didn't have the votes, and for all the Scott Wagspacks in the world, remember what I told y'all? They knew how to count. Right? And Brian Hopkins knew how to count on Tuesday.
Yeah, you said,
right?
He said I got 32 votes.
He said I got 32. He put 40 on that bad boy. Right? So he knew how to count. See, that is white boys. White boys be like, white men say, you can't tell me what to do. Like, think about that. He was the epitome of the white guy, like, I don't care who this black woman thinks she is. I got 32 votes. I'm getting my Lincoln Yards. And I'm just saying right now.
I also think it doesn't hurt that Mayor Emanuel wanted it.
I agree with you.
He's very friendly with most of the audience.
And I think that what happened was, it's like, I think Lori Lightfoot is going to learn that she needs 26 votes.
Right. And
for all of your mandate, and for all of what them white folks telling you, you better learn how to count. I think that yesterday, Scott Wagspach just lost the finance committee because he can't count. It's the Talk of Chicago. We'll be back after traffic and the weather.
More of the morning show with Mace Jackson coming up.
He can't count, bro. Look, Brian Hopkins counted on that ass and was like, I got my votes. We gonna do this thing. Now, here's what you see now Lori Lightfoot is gonna have to learn. Now she's gonna have to compromise. So now let me tell you what, if I'm Lori Lightfoot, you know who I'm going to get on my team? I know I'm gonna say it again, right? You know who I'm gonna say? Alderman Burnett.
Oh yeah, you did say that yesterday.
I'm saying to her, like, while there's all of this hullabaloo about her being a reformer and she don't like these people, etc., she's going to need someone that when she makes tough decisions, stands by her and can hold the votes. Mm-hmm. Ed Burke is gone, right? Pat O'Connor is gone.
Yeah.
Carrie Alston is probably on the black side of it, Walter can get black, white, and everybody's vote.
Yeah,
Now,
he's more of a
right, he's a diplomat, right? It's like he gonna be with whoever is in charge. He's gonna be with whoever is in charge and help you get this stuff done. And in return, he gets what he needs for his people. Like, all you gotta do is look at the 27th Ward. It's a reason let me just say this. So I've never been a Rahm Emanuel fan. Never.
neither.
But Alderman Burnett learned how to work with him and learned the tools that Rahm had in his toolbox and learned how to negotiate with him. And bro, you look at the 27th Ward and it's like, man, Skid Row is now the most valuable place in the city of Chicago, right? He got every investment. You think about the 27th Ward has probably had more libraries, more parks, more school extensions. Within the ward, he has she's got all the external factors, but when it's time to do what she needs to do in the city council, she don't need somebody that's gonna be at war with all the aldermen. She needs somebody who can talk to all the aldermen and say, come on, go with her on this issue. Now, it's gonna cost her, but in the meantime, if he got 26, that's the best ally to have than any of them white guys. Think about that. I'm just telling y'all.
I agree. Of course, I agree with you. but you're right though. Walter is one of the few aldermen who have an area that is so diverse. Kind of just like his mentor Jesse White when he was state rep. He's got all this rich property up here running through Lake Street and Randolph. Then he's got this regular neighborhood going to the west. He's the best of both worlds, and like I say, he Walter's reminds me of my dad, except he's short.
Loyal.
I just wanted to insult Walter. No, but exactly, he's loyal. You know he's going to be with you. If he says he's going to be with you, he's going to be with you. If there's a problem, he's going to tell you what the problem is. If there's not a problem, then there's no problem, which is great. I love people who let you know where they are.
And the thing is, it's like, quite frankly, what's funny is a lot of the people that you would expect to be protesting this are not protesting the 78 or Lincoln Yards because he got them in the deal. Right? So when they talk about all of these black businesses and all of this extra money and all of that stuff, quite frankly, most of the people that are going to benefit from that are the ex-offenders, the former gang members, the people that are getting those peripheral contracts.
Yeah.
Is because he built an incubator and fed them in. Now, the challenge becomes, do those black businesses that get the opportunity that he opened the door for, do they grow their businesses, or do they do the other model, which is, look, just pay me.
I don't really want to do nothing.
I don't want to do much. I don't want to grow my business. I just want to get paid for over these projects. Right. So now the key is, if I open the door, if he opens the door for you, do you grow your business from that, or do you still try to be a gangster and do gangster stuff and just say, give me the business, instead of saying, okay, now I'm going to be a player? For real. So pay attention to how quiet it was on the black side of that deal. Nobody, baby, if I can't have you, if I can't have you, I don't want nobody, baby, if I can't have you, You are tuned in to Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting in with me is my man, Todd Stroger, former president of the Cook County Board. And Todd, we were talking about what happened at City Council. Yesterday, Mayor-elect Lightfoot got a lesson in counting. I just think that it's funny to me that even though black folks got the numbers, the first person that started counting was the white guy. Right? He like,
Well, it was his project, though.
I mean, it was his project, but you know, could you imagine that if that was Rahm Emanuel and Brian, and it was 3 years left in the term, and Brian Hopkins going, or how about this one? Could you imagine Mayor Rahm Emanuel coming into office, Brian Hopkins being there, and Lori Lightfoot being the mayor, and Rahm saying, I don't want this project to go? You think he'd be talking about, I got 40 votes? No.
I think it'd probably be a different type of hammer.
I think he'd be like, excuse me, sir. Yeah, please. I just think that I think yesterday was an example, hopefully to the Lori Lightfoot team, that you got to count and you got to get people who can marshal votes for you and make sure that you don't look.
The whip.
Yes, naive in that process. Because as Carol Marine called him, the daddy, that just still cooks my grits. Pat O'Connor, the daddy got whooped, so he's leaving City Council. It was Rahm's last City Council meeting. I want to talk a little bit about Rahm's legacy, good and bad. I mean, I'm not going to say you can remove Laquan McDonald. I'm not going to say that at all. But I want to know what you think. Like, I want to hear some insights, good and bad, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Did you see, Todd, that there are hearings right now going on to fire 4 police officers who were accused of lying on their reports in the Laquan McDonald shooting?
Isn't that something? Who thought that was coming, huh?
Hey, man, isn't that kind of crazy? Now, is that the same board? Now, is that board run by Gian Foreman?
Oh, I don't know.
I think that's the same board that's run by Gian.
You know, he's in the news for
Right, that's perfect lead-in. Go ahead. He's in the news for what, Todd?
Man, you're smarter than me. I'll let you go.
Oh, Todd. Gian Foreman is, guys, you know Gian. He is from the neighborhood. You know what? He is from the community. And when I say the community, he's a black dude, black guy,
exactly.
Doing his thing. He is now overseeing Obama land with this Emerald Development Corporation. And basically, he's going to be in charge of ensuring that there are community benefits, not a community benefits agreement, but that the community benefits from. Now, I want to make sure that we start saying black people, and I know Gian is a black guy and is definitely down and conscious.
I guess when I saw Gian, this is many moons ago because I was president probably in the last thrones of death, and so I'm at like Gibson's, I think. And here comes Foreman, and walking next to him is Chris Webber, who was huge.
Yes.
And he shook my hand, and you know, I'm a small guy. His hand went wrapped around my hand like twice. And Webber, when he was a player and was making tons of money, was very instrumental in doing development and all kind of stuff. And Gian was one of the guys who was the head for him.
Check this out. You know what? Speaking of Chris Webber, shout out to my man Donnie Kirksey, DK. What up? You know he put the Fab Five together. I'm not gonna tell nobody.
Yeah, I heard you say that yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about it.
And I keep on saying, I'd have been impressed if they going to Howard.
Right. Shout out to. But you know what? Gian brings up another point, and I've got a lot of young black people, or not young, but middle people that are now being offered opportunities as this power structure shakes up. They're getting offers. Let me tell y'all what, and I want to put this out there for right now. If you black people in my generation and younger are offered the opportunity to participate, please participate. Please do not sit out and think that because you have gone to the meeting or have started to be asked for your opinion, that you are in some way, shape, or form a sellout. Please.
I'm not working for the man.
Please. And let me say, let me say that it is imperative that we get people that are working for the man, but who understand where they come from. And so, like, I do not want the activists, the black people, everybody, we all need to be able to talk to each other.
Yes.
as black people. You got to go back to your room and you got to do your job, and you got to, and because I don't want to have to.
You mean talk to each other in a civil manner?
Talk to each other in a civil manner, understanding that we all have day jobs or day responsibilities.
Right.
But when we leave those responsibilities, our bond still remains black. It should be that when certain black people walk in the room, not because of the white people, but because of the black people, the white people are safe. Does that make sense? Like, the white people need to know that the black people know each other.
Right.
And that we not, and as long as you doing the right thing by black people, I'm with you. But when you not, see all them goons over there? They got my back, not yours. So I want to help y'all understand that it's important. Do not let anybody talk you out of being at the table. Get to the table, but remember what your job is at the table. But don't get fired at the meantime. All right, did you see Julian Assange of WikiLeaks fame has been arrested in the Peruvian, in the embassy in the Ecuadorian embassy in London, to be brought back to Chicago. I mean, not to Chicago, to the United States to be prosecuted. Now, you know what? If I was Julian Assange, I would be real nervous, because you know he gon'. You ever watch like Homeland?
No.
Like, you gotta watch like Homeland and see how they be doing these people. Or do you ever watch how people wind up just dead by the CIA? It's super good.
Oh, the CIA. Well,
yeah, I'm saying Julian
I have
Assange.
to watch Homeland and know that they kill people.
You know, just like Chicago police officers sometimes say, man, you know they kill my too. But
You trying to shoot me? I killed. Oh, you killed my. And you just trying to hit me with the car?
Julian Assange better be careful when he come back. When he get on that plane, I would be like, I need a food tester, like, and I gotta wait an hour. Look, it's Talk Chicago 1690. When we come back, I am going to talk about this Lincoln Yards deal from a different perspective. And y'all, I want to know, if black people had $1 billion, like, if, I'm determined we're gonna get black people $1 billion in Chicago. But I was thinking about it. If we get $1 billion, what are we gonna do with it? So let's talk about that when we come back. It's the Talk Chicago 1690.
Live from the WVON.
I'm gonna get y'all $1 billion. The goal this year, the goal over this next year is to get $1 billion for Black Chicago for development and projects. Now, what are we gonna do with that $1 billion? How would you spend $1 billion in Chicago to make Black Chicago better and not give none of the money to white people?
I'll tell you, a project that I think about that's probably close, because it's close to my home, is I would revitalize the Regal, build some parking, and I would do a streetscape along 79th Street. So we could bring in some new businesses, probably, you know how artists follow revitalizing a neighborhood. So yeah, I mean, you'd have restaurants and shops that people would go along 79th Street. I think that would be a great development. I know we can do something on the west side. I just haven't been on the west side in so long. I can't think of anything on top of my head. But yeah, there's, well, shoot. I don't know, the Sears building. That whole area, I'm sure there's places like not just that whole Sears thing. You can revitalize that into some kind of shopping center or something. We got a lot of land around here. We can do a lot of things, but we got a lot of brownfields too, where we could put some small businesses, some small manufacturing. I mean, you know, in America and in our neighborhoods, there's still a lot of places that do things like make screws and make wires. Like, you know, Alderman Mell used to make some small things for businesses. That was his first business, and how he really got his money into it. So we just put some stuff in, you know, in those businesses I'm talking about that are in our little commercial districts. I mean, those have been there for decades, as long as I've been alive, or a lot of them longer. And they've got an old workforce, and we could buy some of those up. There used to be a Business US Gear right at, I guess that would be like 94 Stony Island. and I think they just closed, but they've been there as long as I can remember. But wouldn't it have been nice if someone who was black, maybe lived one of our wards, owned that business, and bought it before the owner either died or moved on, kept him on, so it could be transitioned with the people who he was doing business with. Yeah, boy, we could do a lot with, I forgot how much money May said, $1 billion or whatever it was. Capital is key. That's what makes things happen. Even little things. I was listening to, I think it was Cliff one day, and he had on a guest from the, I don't remember what it was, the Illinois Black Chamber of Commerce, but it was something like that.
They so.
Well, I don't think it was them anyway. I think it was the other group that's local. That's a Chamber of Commerce. But she was saying how it's hard for people in the black neighborhoods and the west neighborhoods to get capital. While if you go on the north side, they can have a business in a spot, and you come back a year later and it's a totally different business, and the whole store has been totally changed. She said that doesn't happen on the south and the west. They can't. The new person cannot get the money to renovate the place and space to make it new and whatever their image would be of it. So, man, we could use money for that. Man, shoot. I can think of something. If I flow that kind of money through me, start me something.
Yeah, but you're gonna start you something. So the thing is, so everybody wants to start them something, but what have they done that they have the experience to be able to sustain it? Right? Like I always think like entrepreneurs are usually built from employees, right? So the typical story, the story that we hear on TV all the time is, I had a great idea, I tried 7 different things, and it finally popped. But the most successful entrepreneur is usually someone who worked in an industry for a while, and then after they worked in that industry for a while, they look at what they were doing for somebody else and say, ooh, I could do this for myself. And then they usually poach one of their clients that they've dealt with for a long time, and then they use that as the launching pad. So I think that the problem is we got everybody that says they want to start a business, but they ain't ready to run a business. And having run several businesses, let me just tell you, payroll is a mother physicker. Because when it comes, every 2, you be like, dag, is it 2 weeks already? Then you try to change the pay date to the 1st and 15th. Then you be like, but it's going to come out. Man, please. You got to understand, I just think that we have a misinformed concept of the way we do business. I think we got an idea, but not nobody, but you got to take the time to learn the business. When people wanted to open a McDonald's, to open a McDonald's back in the day, I don't know about now, you literally had to take 1 year off and work there full time as an employee and learn every station and every position. I never forget that. And it's like, so there were these multi-millionaires who would be wanting to own McDonald's and would drop out of the training program because they weren't ready and McDonald's wouldn't let you. So I just think that we got to make sure that we've got people that are prepared, or at least a mentorship program that gets you through the business. Like I want to own corner stores, but I think like I want to get Donald Trump to be mad and say that you can no longer own, if you are of foreign descent, you can no longer own more than 51% of any business in the United States. You know they do that in Saudi Arabia and stuff? Like
I'm not surprised.
And so if you are a foreign,
I thought we had some kind of laws about foreign nations owning.
So but I'm saying, and imagine if we passed an ordinance in the city of Chicago, right? That was, you cannot own a store in these, you cannot own a business in these geographical areas without having a and be foreign owned. You could be U.S. owned, U.S. born. But if you're not U.S. born, you have to have a majority partner. Now imagine every corner store had to have a majority black partner. We say, you can't do that, that ain't fair. Why the hell it ain't? Because we scared. You got to go to church.
And what is fair, right?
Right.
What's fair? What's the definition of that?
You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting in with me is my co-host, Todd Stroger, former president, Cook County Board President. Hey, Todd. Yesterday, Chicago City Council awarded almost $2 billion in TIF dollars to two white companies, Sterling Bay and Related Midwest. Now, in exchange, they'll build what are billed to be 15-year, multi-billion-dollar projects, Lincoln Yards and the 78. 78 representing Chicago's newest neighborhood. I decided, Todd, after seeing that, you know what, some white guy somewhere was like, you know what, by George, I've got it. By George, we will get $1 billion, I'm talking about $1 billion in subsidy from the Chicago City Council and the mayor of Chicago. We will make ourselves rich forever. Forever and ever and ever and ever. We're going to take $1 billion in startup capital. Then we're going to go match that with $6 billion in additional funding. We're going to round up a bunch of our guys from New York with some big money. We're going to invest hard in Chicago, and we are going to make trillions of dollars. You know what? I don't even know if black people think like that. Like, I don't even know if our mind goes to that level. Like, where it says, let's get $1 billion. But Todd, I have decided that I have made it our mission to acquire $1 billion for black people in this administration.
Yeah.
Todd, I have decided that we got to put a goal out there. So I want to see Black Chicago get $1 billion in new investment dollars in the South and West Side. $1 billion.
Uh-huh.
But Todd, but let me tell you, Todd, my old man used to say this. He said, if you take all the money from all the rich people and give it to all the poor people, in a year, all the poor people will be poor again and all the rich people will be rich again. So now my question...
Obviously, your father didn't see Trading Places.
I think this might have came before Trading Places.
Okay.
But it got me to asking, Todd, because I'm like, yo, you know what? I'm about to go get... We going to get us $1 billion, y'all. Does anybody agree with me we can get $1 billion? Is that unrealistic to say that black people in Chicago should be able to get $1 billion in a new investment over the next 4 years?
No, it isn't. Not at all. You just have to find the right players. I mean, I think we were talking off air, and you were talking about really having the capacity, the knowledge, the experience to do certain things. I think you could put a group together that has all that. The hard part then is getting the political will to force it, because you got to force it.
You got to force it. So here's the thing that I was thinking, though. I was thinking, Todd, that do we have the capacity to do $1 billion in the black community? If we were able to acquire $1 billion, how could we spend $1 billion in black Chicago without giving the money back to white people? So here's the social media question of the day. Here's the social media question of the day. What could black people do with $1 billion in Chicago? Now, I'm telling you, give us a call, 312-374-8130. What could black people do with $1 billion in Chicago? No hair, no weave. Like, so what?
No barbershops, no beauty shops, huh?
Right. I mean, we got enough of them. No churches.
Yeah, right.
Because, you know, the first place they'll go is try and get the money out of the church.
I got to get 10% to the church.
Right. Like the reverends will be like, well, I know, y'all know. Look, so $1 billion. Could you spend $1 billion in Chicago with black people and have something to show for it? $1 billion. I'm saying $1 billion. I'm not saying a couple million. I'm saying a billion. So who manages it? Now, let me ask the question.
We can figure that out. That's easy.
Well, see, but can we really?
Money people.
We got money people, but when have we seen them be responsible? Give me tangible outcomes from our money people. So, yeah, we got big.
When you say manage, what do you mean by that?
Okay, so first we got to put it in a black bank.
What?
Okay. So, hold on. So, first, we get the $1 billion. Then, when we get the $1 billion, we got to put it somewhere.
Right.
Where we going to put it? White bank. All right. Then after you get the $1 billion, you put it in the white bank.
We used to have enough banks where we could split it up and put it in like 4 different banks, but
we get used to, right? This gonna go to another topic in a little bit. So you got $1 billion. So where you gonna put the money? Then after you get it, who's going to manage it? Right? So now we got some black people that can manage it.
Yeah.
Some of them have a good track record in dealing with black people. Some of them maybe not so much. Right?
Yeah.
They've been black. They've been getting black money management dollars. Some have been tangible, some have not. Okay. But then who makes the plan? Because then we need to know who are going to be the planners. Can it really be the same people who planned all of the black stuff before? Because you see how that worked out.
I think in a venture like this, you probably want to take some people from academia along with some people from, the regular business section.
Okay, so now you got the money, and now you got the people who are the planners who are going to decide what we're going to do with it. Where then do we do it? Like, what's the project? Are we going to build a house? We're going to build housing? We're going to build affordable housing? What are we going to do? Right? So now...
I know.
Go ahead.
We build a neighborhood.
Okay, so let's build... So we're
going
going
to... Where it's going to be?
Where?
It's going to be right there on the lakefront at 79.
Okay, so we're going to...
U.S. Steel.
Okay, so we're going to rebuild the black Lincoln Yards, a black Mecca. Tall, shiny buildings, all right? And it's going to be off the chain. It's going to be... Boat slips. We're going to be able to pull up. Okay, now, who's the architect? Who's the builder? And then who moves into it?
Well, that's the hard part. Who's moving into it? How many people can afford to move into these units?
Well, see this here. You go with that Lincoln Yards. So you think that the Lincoln Yards with the multi-billion-dollar people moving into that neighborhood finna let you Negroes come run around here and mark up their elevators? You better cool out.
Even with that project, somebody said, where are you going to get all these people to move into this whole new neighborhood?
They're going to get all these people because it's a lot of people getting rich around here. It's just not us. So, yeah, black folks. Because, I always usually ask people, like, if you ask black people, so $1 billion, what you doing? Give us a call. 312-374-8130. Black people, you got $1 billion to spend in Chicago. What you going to do? Oh, see?
I'm going to the Horseshoe.
See? That's Negro's problem right now. The dang on boat. So, let me ask the question. What, $1 billion? Y'all, I'm on a mission to get $1 billion for black Chicago. We're on a mission. It came to me in a vision. But you know how the white boy, you know how they do us? This is what they say. They say, well, I can't find any qualified companies.
Oh, I've heard that.
But I just asked you who we gonna use. Who can we trust? We get $1 billion. I'm telling you. Let me tell you, gonna be the first people in line. Gonna be the first people who wasn't able to get Lori Life for the Lake. Be the first ones. First ones. And that money is gonna go to them. And we're gonna be back in the same spot we at. We gotta do better, y'all. It's Talk Chicago 1690. $1 billion. What? The rabbit got y'all tongue? So now you got $1 billion and y'all ain't got nothing to talk about? You better give us a call, 312-374-8130. Oh, you don't want to do nothing. Scared money don't make no money. We'll be back after traffic.
More of the morning show with Blaze Jackson coming up.
6:48. People still in the showers.
With the blue urban reward on Zonabone, it's
You
been
know
a
what?
decade after the financial crisis. And
Green technology. You know, if I remember correctly, there's a company that does solar panels out in the 34th ward.
Lockman.
Is that them?
But the question is, again, how does that sustain? So you put solar panels on the houses and that company gets rich. What do you want with $1 billion? So that you give that company $20 million. You still
Well, what you want is you want them to be able to expand, hire more black people, hire more black professionals. I mean, if we remember history correctly, people like Pullman created a whole town through their company. So black people could do the same thing. If you could build a company large enough that people needed what they had, then yeah, you can have
And one is to get
stand over there.
on my blind self with these glasses. One is to get our own black TV networks. As soon as we get Cosby out of jail, you know he's always been trying to buy his own network. So we can actually do that.
We can
have
that's
our
a good
black
idea, though.
magnificent mile.
Yeah.
Right? We
Yeah.
can have our own black magnificent mile. Right?
It's only $1 billion though, so
It's only $1 billion.
you can only do so much with it.
Hey, just so much. We can have our own black universities. Seeing that Chicago State is at the low total pole for black, yeah, we need to build more of those. What else do I want?
All you showing is straight chest in the thing. You better go. All you got is
There's a body to all of this. Face, brother.
either sit in the chair because you
what-
straight.
what
just,
else? What else I want?
It's literally neck.
Neck only.
It's neck.
What else do I want? You see what I say? What else do I
That's
want?
really good though. I like
Which
that
one?
Chicago State idea.
I mean, the Chicago
Because
State's the lowest.
money into them. They would hire. They could hire professors with top credentials and make campus look better, build some dorms, and start to be more of a think tank.
Are we really? So I think Chicago State got some work to do before we start putting all that money in the Chicago
But that's
State.
all we need to do.
That's
Y'all
where
been
you
dumping
money
on.
is, though.
Y'all been dumping money down Chicago State. Y'all built
They
a
ain't
beautiful
never really had any
campus.
real money.
They ain't
Well,
got
they
no-
got
they ain't
beautiful
got
ki-
no good professors. I'm sorry.
And
I went there for 2
and
years.
it's more than buildings.
It was the worst.
Yeah, I mean, if you have an endowment of only $5 million, I mean, literally, Mace, I bet you and I could go out on the road, and in a year we could raise $5 million.
So what they doing? What they do? They making them. So somebody should take some of that salary money that they getting and get their ass in development and go develop.
Yeah, it's
I'm just saying, like
$1
it's like.
billion, we can do that.
I mean, you got a whole campus.
You hire people whose job it is to make to go out and get people interested in your campus.
Right.
But everything takes money.
Well, I'm saying, if you gonna pay, they got plenty of people that they pay.
Well, we're not putting all our $1 billion there.
Man, I'm not.
Not in that
See
one,
again,
nah.
and I'm saying, did somebody say buy some in the Regal? I mean, ain't we been ain't the Regal been coming back for the last 10 years?
Well, that's
They don't have the money.
I'm saying every time you come on
That's
TV.
the problem with the Regal is you can't throw a little money at it because it's really a huge project.
Huge project.
You have to use the whole street because you're not going to get people to come when there's winos sleeping in the front.
You gotta buy up the entire blocks from 79th and Stony, I think, all the way to Rainbow Beach.
Oh,
I'm talking about going all the way down to South Shore
you know
Drive.
when you get close to Rainbow, it gets a little sketchy down there.
And we need our beaches back.
You know, I'm the kind of brother
Oh,
that
that's
doesn't go that far.
The beaches are coming back. It's just you gotta move. Y'all know.
So you can't. do
Have you seen? So y'all know that what's the place with the train wreck that people go to? Reggie's. Reggie's got the beach house on 50. Was it 50 on 63rd? Reggie's Rock Cafe upstairs. Have y'all been to North Avenue and seen how them white people get down on the weekends in that beach thing? it's like Miami. It's like South Beach. Like you go up there, they got bottle service. It's white people on the roof partying in bikinis. The whole thing. You know what? We went to that like, what's going on here? And it's like all the white people and then black people done snuck up there. I mean, it's straight up like Miami in the summertime. And we don't know none of that. See, look at black folks. Now you talked all that. They was up there talking about nobody got no plan for $1 billion.
I got all the plans in the world. Come on now, these are easy plans. It's easy. We have deserts in our neighborhood. Easy.
All right, y'all, take a. What's up, Principal? You are tuned in to Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting in with me is my co-host, Ty Stroger. Ty, I didn't know you knew Ye. What you know about Gold Digger, man?
That is a great song.
That's a great song?
Yeah, I know a great song when I hear it.
You know what? I
just don't
remember
hear a lot of songs like that.
he performed that song as a poem in the Chicago Hip Hop Awards some years ago at the DuSable Museum. I remember we was all like, Kanye gonna be a big star one day. And now look, y'all. All right, but it is the social media question of the day. What could black people do with $1 billion in Chicago? You know, yesterday there were people down there protesting, going off. Now I'm gonna say there was a lot of people who were not protesting. And I've been told that there have been a lot of people that have gotten pieces of this deal, a lot of black companies that have gotten a piece of this Lincoln Yards deal. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But I want to understand, what would black people do with $1 billion? I'm determined that we have to have a vision. So I think whenever I get a chance to talk to Mayor Lori Lightfoot, she ain't talking to me though, yo. But when I do get a chance, I'm going to say, I want $1 billion in black investment dollars set aside for black Chicago. $1 billion. And you know what they're going to say? Well, Maze, what companies do you have that can do it? And what do you want to do with that $1 billion? Well, I'm going to tell you, here's part of my plan. I want to put $100 million up to rebuy all the corner stores in our neighborhoods. I want a $100 million fund that allows us to go buy and reclaim all of the things in our neighborhood that were rightfully ours. So I want to go take back, I want the city council of Chicago to pass an ordinance that says that if you are foreign born and not a U.S. citizen, you must have 51% ownership. If someone from that geographical area must have 51% ownership. Now, when you do that, I want to have a $100 million fund that allows us to go have a loan that allows us to go back and buy all of the corner stores, the Harold's Chickens, the nail shops, and I want to go buy all of the hair and weave stores back. And
That's a good idea.
I'm saying, like if you had $100 million set aside, we have $100 million set aside, a retail training program that teaches you how to run these businesses, and then the city council passes an ordinance that says that you cannot own a corner store in our neighborhood. Or even if you have been declared a detrimental to the neighborhood, because you know most of them stores are.
What? No, detrimental?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
If we declare you, if the local alderman uses his prerogative to declare you detrimental to the neighborhood, then you got to sell. You got to go. Y'all scared to do that, though. Stop playing. All right, let's go to Karen. Karen, you're on Talk Chicago, 1690 AM.
Hey, good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
Man, you said it today. We will buy up the land. We will open up these closed schools and teach our people how to sew. We will manufacture and produce every one of our products, and we will grow our own food, and we will take over the land. Matter of fact, we're going to do that. Ain't no if. It's going to happen. Manufacture our own product. Sewing is the key, and planning is the key. Have a wonderful day. Love you.
Thank you, sis. All right, give me Tommy. Tommy on Talk Chicago, 1690.
Well, Maze, I just want to ask a question, brother. You know I love you, right?
I do.
And Todd, you sitting right there next to him, right?
Yep.
So neither one of y'all been drinking or smoking this morning, right?
Nope.
Speak for Todd. I'm just playing. Go ahead.
But real quick, just to make this very clear, let's be clear about something. One, how and why would $1 billion come to the South and West Side when the administration and the powers that be won't even clearing up the streets? We are now killing babies in Chicago, and we're acting like this is a norm. And I would like to leave you with this, because it's not like I don't have the hope for $1 billion. $1 billion should have been spent in the South and West Side. But check this out. See, yesterday's deal with that vote down there in that council was nothing but the prelim for the letdown of individuals in the city who believe the change is about to take place at the latest election. I am telling you this, and you watch as it goes. And if I'm wrong, I will call this show. I'll beg the pardon of the WVON family. But the bottom line of it is, what community or what investor do you think is going into any community where the lawlessness is the way it is, as it is on the South and West Side? I love you both.
That's Tommy. We'll be back after traffic, news, and the weather.
The talk of Chicago and the voice.
That's where they go and you buy cheap. So see, here's the thing. We know all this violence is going on. We buy the land cheap. That's what they doing in Inglewood. Yep. And then then it's gonna turn around. So here's my thing. You start, like, you got $1 billion. Oh, also I would buy a drop squad too. I buy me a drop squad. And my drop squad be going.
Sounds like they're just sitting around waiting for somebody to call them up.
Hey man, I'm just telling y'all.
I'm gonna put you on retainer.
No, I'm just gonna give you a job. You know, you on salary. You know what? When you find out, like, you on salary, 6 kids got shot at a baby shower, you know you gotta go to work. Go to work. Yeah. Sorry. Go to work. Handle your business. I'm sorry I don't care about your issues. But at this point, you just didn't care about ours. I think that you put neighborhood, I would fund neighborhood gun social clubs. I would allow environment. I would make sure that occurred, in that I would allow, like, I would create zones. I would actually use the SSA money to actually empower those police forces to do some real work that they could do. But I'm just saying, like, $1 billion and don't nobody, look, I'm just saying like this. Y'all know if I called y'all to say, if I put it out there to say who we mad at, phone lines will light up. If I said these do nothing, know nothing aldermen, phones would light up, y'all have everything to say. I'm saying let's go to them and say we want $1 billion. But if we say we want $1 billion, right, the problem is a lot of people can't wrap their minds around the concept of $1 billion. Now you got $1 billion and you don't even know what to do, right? What do you want to do with $1 billion? My plan, train and buy all of our neighborhoods back. Kick all the other people out. Use the money like they had their fund when they came here and bought up our grocery stores and bought up all the black-owned businesses that were there. Go back and buy them back. You got the street arm that says, hey, bro, sorry, but you can't be here no more. Your warrior class, like, you got to get a hold of the warrior class that's hanging out in front, because they supplying the warrior class, right? You know that weed is about to be legal, so we create a vehicle for our street soldiers to become legitimized. Y'all don't want to do nothing though. See? Y'all scared, go to church. Okay, Todd. Todd is the investment banker. What you gonna do with $1 billion? What's the $1 billion project?
$1 billion project. Man, oh man.
You got $1 billion, you could leverage that $1 billion, right? So you got $1 billion, you could turn that into at least 3.
Yeah, yes, he can do a lot with $1 billion. I mean, if I had $1 billion, I mean, that's totally different than if there was $1 billion out there for people to do things. Yeah. But I would definitely look at, I was thinking about this just the other night, starting well, I'd have to get partners in this, people who have been in the restaurant business, but I think Black started franchise restaurants that did more than just, not just like a soul food barbecue place, but maybe we'd have a place that was an Indian place or something else, and we put them in Black neighborhoods to give them different fare that they can go to. And I still think green is also a great thing. Take one of these brown fields, like Harvey and one of those places, and start ourselves a business that made something. I'm not sure what. I mean, we already have a business that does the paneling, solar paneling. Personally, I'd like to start a finance company.
Tomorrow?
A municipal bond company.
Tomorrow.
That wouldn't be bad.
Did you see?
I got a background in that.
He's at 7.
Financial advisor.
Did you see the video? It went viral with these young kids.
I think we got enough places.
Said, "Fuck the police."
It's just what do we put in?
The police was
And
driving
we have to
down,
start
and he
some
says, "I can't wait till you all get 18."
businesses
Y'all
that
ask
employ
somebody.
people. So that's why I like the idea of places that make like solar panels and actually pay someone a very good wage, so they can move in the neighborhood, then afford the other things that you're building. So I definitely would like to see some companies, like Maze was talking about buying up the corner stores. I also like the idea you buy some of these smaller manufacturers that are out here. And hire from the neighborhood, because most of those places are road, and they have people who have come away. Hey, just an illusion. Who have come away from different neighborhoods, Polish and Irish. And they've been working there for 30 years and never stopped anywhere in the neighborhood. They just drive in, drive out, and go home. Now we can have somebody that drives in, drives out. 5-10 minutes later, they're at home, instead of making that long commute and not giving anything back to our neighborhood. So yeah, we can do a lot of things. And of course, with $1 billion, you start a bank. You probably need to start a couple of banks, but you definitely start a bank because, as May said, you need some place to put money, and you also need some place that's gonna loan you money. Everybody ain't loaning money to Black folks. Yeah, you can make it work. We got enough experience out here. We got enough people who want to see things happen, just like I was talking about Foreman. He's been very big in real estate. I mean, I'm sure he'd come to the table. You got a lot of people who deal with money. Jim Reynolds and John Rogers. We could make that money work for us. And to start a bank, you just need some directors who
build a nice library.
They
Get your mom. That's what they getting ready. Cause they about to build a nice library with the Obama Center. That's not gonna be an economic spur. We need to build us the Black Mecca.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's free rib tips on Fridays.
Yeah, why don't we just kill each other, right? Free rib tips.
You don't eat rib tips, Todd?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
But I do know eventually I'm going to.
You're listening to The Morning Show with Maze Jackson on the Talk of Chicago.
Oh no! It's in his kiss.
That's where it is. That's where it is. Bum 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 bum. Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum. It's there in his kiss.
You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. My co-host, Todd Stroger. That's him singing in the background. Todd, I think you missed your calling, man.
So, to be a background singer and some dive
bar and singing those songs. You should see me like when they got the piano bar. That's me. I'm singing all the songs, and I sit there like I could be the star
So
of
did
the
you
show.
sing in why Dan Burke played in Springfield?
Actually, I did. You know, Dan, can I tell you something?
Yes, you
Dan Burke actually played the piano at the funeral of my father.
can. Oh, really?
Yes, they were actually very, very, very close friends. Actually, he counted Dan Burke. Dan Burke told me that if it wasn't for him, he would not have been elected as many times because he represented a significant part of the black community at that time.
Yes.
Yes. So, Dan, you know, you see Dan Burke. He's like, he plays all the gospel hits. Actually, Dan Burke and Ed Burke are pianists. You know, I feel like their parents were like, you're going to learn the piano when you grow up. And you're like the
It
kids.
was the old school thing. They were lucky they didn't say, you're going to learn the ukulele.
Like ukulele. Ka-ding, ka-ding. Right. He used to hold court. Like you go to the Globe in Springfield at the end of the night, there would be Dan Burke on the piano playing all the hits. Hey, y'all, it is the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. That is my co-host, Todd Stroger. You got to say what's up to the WVON Morning Show team. What's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, as well as the Wonder Twins. That's Sonia Escobar, as well as Miss Sonia Tompkins. Let me take 2 phone calls. Because y'all, I'm going to just tell y'all, if I called y'all and said, them know nothing, do good, alderman, blah-de-blue, blah-de-blam, y'all would have been calling up here talking about, oh, yeah, throw all the bums out. I asked y'all, what could we do with $1 billion? I am determined that we are going to get $1 billion for the black community this year, over the next 4 years. That's my mission. But I know when I walk in there and say, I want $1 billion, they're gonna like, what y'all gonna do with it and who you gonna get it? And I'm gonna tell you, the problem is, as soon as we get $1 billion, we gotta go take it to the white folks anyway. So I'm asking y'all, what would you do? I'm telling you, if I had $1 billion, I would create a $100 million fund, and I would have the city council pass an ordinance that says that if you are of foreign-born descent, you must have a majority black partner or a majority partner from the place you move. That would mean that all the corner stores, all the nail shops, all the chicken joints, all the clothing stores, black people could get 51%. Because we don't own none of that right now.
No.
See? And then you could really start to spur economic development. But you know, let me go to Shauna. Shauna, you on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. What's up, sis?
Hey, May, you know, I've been angry for the past couple of days, but I like what you're talking about.
What you been angry? What you been angry for?
I just been angry because our aldermen ain't taking care of the black folks. And they represent us, and they should be taking care of us. But that's another story. I'm not going to even get all upset about that. But I like what you're saying. One thing I was thinking, and I'm gonna name the place, name it unnameless. I work at a place that's in the healthcare field, and I think, just personally me, we should start one of those schools that closed, open it up, and have it for EMT training. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you can become an EMT basic at the age of 18. What they're doing with some of these other hospitals, they're linking it up, and these white boys are taking it. And they're ended up being on the fire department and working on the ambulance and stuff. And none of our people are doing that. I think if we did this at a high school level, by the time these kids come out at 18 or 17, they can sit for the exam and they can have a guaranteed spot in the fire department. And I think that's a great way for us to start building ourselves back up again. You know, look at Atlanta. Atlanta is basically almost an all-black fire department, and they're doing fine. And I think we need to start in civil service just a little bit, even with the police. Even if we created a high school that's focused on ensuring that these kids will be able to join the police force after they complete however many things, or even make it that they get their associates by the time they get out. They're doing it for other stuff. It's a way that it can be done and put these kids back in the civil service. It'll change a lot of lives. I'm telling you, at other hospitals, they're doing this for EMTs. These kids have no experience. All there is their fathers and mothers work for the police and the fire department. They're getting their EMT basic, and they're coming on to the fire department.
You know,
so it's something that we could think about, and I think if we invested $1 billion into that and have maybe 2 separate high schools that kind of way, and that is the focus on that training, we should be able to make some big gains in some of the civil service.
Thank you, Shauna. I think that's good. I don't think it take $1 billion though. I think we could buy a couple schools, and I think it costs the staff, but I think that's a great thing. I think we got to get people into the workforce. You want to talk about how you get kids to go straight to the police department? All you got to do is send them to St. Rita, Mount Carmel, send them to a white Catholic high school, and they got a guaranteed entry to the police department. All right, let's go to Anthony. Anthony on Talk Chicago, 1690.
Good morning, ladies and team.
Good morning, brother.
How are you?
Great.
That's good. I feel like you've been trying to call me out, talking about being involved, and I still feel the same. But however, we're talking about what would you do with the money. I would develop nurseries that would be able to help these children going forward grow their own food, be able to feed themselves. Okay, because if you can't feed yourself, the rest of that stuff, and it would create jobs.
Oh, Anthony, I think that's I think that's another.
I mean, all along that lakefront there over there every night where he talked about, put glass nurseries over there and teach the kids to grow their own.
I'm going to tell you, I think that's a great idea. Thank you, Anthony. I also think we should create a horticulture school because we know that...
you mean like Ag High?
Like for black people, because it's like trying to get through to Ag High. You know what it's like? Okay, well, first of all, you got to go to 111th. And so, the black kids can't walk home from that school.
That's a long
way. Right? But not only is it a long way, it's in the heart of Mount Greenwood.
And it's a hard place to get to. It's really a corner. It's not easy transportation.
And so I think we should start a horticulture school that allows us to channel and pipeline people into the legal cannabis business that is coming. And I think we could turn some of those old schools into places where you could train people for all multi-levels. I think we should also figure out how do we use that money to buy the black piece of the coming industries. So how do you take $1 billion and say, okay, we're going to buy a piece of the marijuana industry and ensure that it is reserved for black people? How do we buy a piece of the gaming industry that is coming? How do we buy a piece of the casino so that we have an interest in it, that there's some profit share? See, I feel like we got to make this money work if we were to get the $1 billion. Build a community, but you build Blacktown, you build that black community that we've talked about, maybe, and you put the incentives there to grow the business, and man, you create an environment that makes it conducive for black people to live there. They just built a whole new they just got the approval to build 2 new white cities. Right. 2 white cities within the city limits. I am saying that I ain't even mad at them. I'm saying, do we have the vision to even go there? Do black people even think like that? I think we're scared to even ask for $1 billion. But I'm saying I'm not scared to ask, and I don't think we should be scared to ask. But if we're going to ask, we need a plan. We need to start thinking about what do we do, what do we have, what resources do we have, what building company. I know we got Burling Builders. We got Ujama, we got NOSA and those guys. Who builds? Who are our professional service firms? See, I want to talk about this Lincoln Yards project because I feel like I'm concerned that they talked about a lot of contracts going out, right. But are those contracts going out to pacify people or are they going out to build capacity, right? Because a lot of times I noticed that they give out contracts to the people that are the loudest. But are they also, will we see an increase in black employment from these black businesses that they are saying are now benefiting from this additional money that Mayor Lightfoot has said she's gotten?
Or is it more like a pass-through?
Or not even a pass-through, is it a pacifier? Right? As compared to a pass-through, is it a pacifier?
Yeah, but when I said pass-through, I mean like you hire people, but you don't hire a lot, and most of the money just gets stuck at the top for the minority portion, and then all your workers and everybody else is somebody else.
Exactly. Look, y'all, right. Let's talk about all of that. When we come back, we're going to talk about Mayor Lightfoot. We're going to talk about Mayor Lightfoot Her power play, I don't know if it worked. Mayor Emanuel's last meeting. And man, there's a lot of people that was feeling sad and weepy. I want to talk a little bit about Mayor Emanuel's legacy as well. Look, it's Talk Chicago 1690. Mike, I'll take your call when we come back.
More of the morning show with me.
So I want to see people getting hired now, right? If you are, like, I feel like this. No need to bang the project. I want to know the people who got the contracts and what they're doing to make sure that we do better. See, the problem oftentimes becomes is that, like, with the exception of a few people, like, who are the people that have done better from our last projects? Who got the deals? What are the deals for? And how many people will get hired? Now, beyond how many people will get hired, how many people will have the opportunity to advance, and how many people will be able to then take advantage of that project and make a living? Right? Because I am concerned that what they do is, so one of the things that I've been noticing is that they are now starting to identify people to hire that then make everybody else be quiet, or try to make everybody else be quiet. Right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go hire the people that I think are going to shut everybody else down from talking about it. And then I don't really have to deliver. I just got to deliver to these people, not really deliver to the community. And my concern, to black people, not the community. And my concern is that we have developed a whole new structure of the hustle that does not trickle down. I do not want to see, out of $1.6 billion giveaway, another Chicago football classic. I want to see real black businesses thriving and growing. I want to see offices opening up. If you part of the deal now, you should, your joint should grow. You can't be at the same spot no more. You got to be putting that money back in the streets. Now, what is your charitable give back? If you are the brokers of Sterling Bay, if you are the broker of Related Midwest, then the question becomes, now the question is not to the white boys, because you told us that they straight. So now the question becomes to you, what's in it for the black people? Tangible. Salaries. Who's mid, starting, who got into the union based on this, or who did better. Not individuals, not one-offs, but if you taking the joint, then you got to move, you're responsible for a community of people.
Sent you a statement from Lori Lightfoot about Lincoln Yards.
Okay.
Oh, let me send it to you.
Mm.
Who on the racial equity impact? I want to be on that for the transition. How about that? So I want to be on the racial, what do they call it? The racial equity impact assessment. I want to be on that. Because I don't want to be about people of color. I want to ask about black people. So whoever's watching on the broadcast, so put me on the racial equity impact assessment. Another study to tell us we ain't getting no cut? I don't need nobody to study that for me.
Well, you know, to do most things, you gotta prove it first.
You gotta prove to white folks that black people ain't eating?
Yes, unfortunately.
In the morning, man should have all that power. Just stop the hours.
Oh, I can do that.
The tree says so. No. You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man Todd Stroger sitting in here. And Todd, look, man, $1 billion just went to Lincoln Yards, TIFs, the 78. I'm not tripping, man. Mayor Lori Lightfoot said, as we anticipated, the city council voted to pass Lincoln Yards and the 78 tax increment financing deals. However, the community-driven fight for affordable housing, park space, and responsible use of TIF dollars is far from over. There are many more points in this process where we can make sure the voices of the community are headed. Hold on. Over the next 4 years, my commitment is to start at any major development project with strong engagement with the community stakeholders. So let me tell y'all, remember when I told y'all about what's in it for the black people? How it came about was because we was always talking about the community, the community, community. I don't want to hear about the community. I want to hear about black people. I will also build in any major development projects the ability to control the review of all approval plans, manage and develop the infrastructure projects, and track any and all aspects of the zoning and site approval process. Now, let me tell you, basically what they said was that Lori Lightfoot, in her decision to approve this, got more black contracts. They said black and then they changed it to minority. Mm-hmm. Who are the black people that got the contracts? What contracts did they get? For how long? And how will it benefit the black community? Right? Not how long will it keep people quiet, but how will it benefit? Will we see black companies that went from nothing to something? From ashy to classy? Will we see it? There should be physical evidence. There should be tangible. Here's the lick. The people that vouch for the project should be vouching for the work and the output and the people that come with it. Now, a lot of people got a lot of credibility on the line. But again, did you cut the deal for you or did you cut the... Now, can I tell you this, though? Because y'all know I don't believe in no vile poverty. Right. So I believe there is a personal, a professional, and a community responsibility if you take the deal with these multi-billion-dollar projects. By signing it, we know you got the personal. The professional, will we see more black people eating because of you? And not eating beans and pork, but eating steak and lobster. And then, what will the tangible outcome to the community be? Now, if you hiring 20, 50, 75 people who are now off the street, we're going to see that tangible outcome. But if after 6 weeks, those guys are back out on the street, we got questions. Let's go to the phone lines. Mike, you want to talk Chicago 1690? I think I might be making y'all mad. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
Good morning, Brother Mays.
Good morning, Mike. What's cracking?
Brother Todd, how you doing?
Good morning.
Hey, Brother Mays, you just keep on talking and keep on sharing what you believe, because see, what you are doing is opening up some eyes and some mouths. Because I listen to your station every day, and I used to listen to none of this black radio. But I hear that more and more people are calling in, stating what they think should happen. So that means black people are thinking, that means black people are listening, and that means black people are talking. So as long as we keep on dialoguing, there's a strong chance that Lori Lightfoot, we're going to have to hold up to the fire, but there's a strong chance that things that we are looking for in our community and in our pockets may just happen. But you just keep on doing your time. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. And all the activists and all the so-called black leaders, they all need to come together, Maze, and look out for one another. For real. Man,
Mike, you know, I'm hearing the black activists kind of getting mad because I'm talking about stuff and they saying, man, you where you come from? I'm just saying like this, y'all. I know how it works. You know, we talk about our people being convinced to take... We got people selling us peanuts when there are steaks being cut up. And we got to stop taking the Negro deal for one or two of us and really start to say, hey, y'all, we need some outcomes. Like some real outcomes. I'm tired of getting the text to tell me to come rally so that somebody can go in and go out the back door and we still wondering. So we all standing outside rallying and then somebody go inside, they come out and now it ain't no more rally. And I ain't seen. Can I ask y'all a question? Who are the grown black businesses that we've seen come up in the last 5 years? Like, not the old school, but the new growing black businesses. I want to see tangible outcomes.
No, you're right. I know I talked to a guy, he was a preacher actually.
Uh-huh.
And he said he stopped going to those meetings where all the preachers would get together and they say, we're going to do this and we're going to ask them for that. And they get in the room and then as soon as whoever was in charge would say, well, you know, we got this, the whole thing would break apart. You'd be like, I'll take that. And what they actually came to ask for, they wouldn't get because they wouldn't stick together. So I know people are upset at not having the organization to make things happen.
And I'm tired of getting tricked about coming into the room only to be on somebody else's self-interest instead of the whole collective. You think you come into the meeting to fight for black people, but then essentially all you're doing is being props for somebody that's pimping our pain and poverty. Right. See, we got to stop allowing our own... the pain and suffering of black people has always been a tool of white folks. It seems like we got black people that have learned how to master it too. We got to change that up. Look, y'all, when we come back, we're going to go back to Rahm's final city council meeting. Man, I think people was about to cry yesterday when Rahm was leaving. And I want to talk about his legacy, too. It's Talk Chicago 1690. We'll be back.
Live from the WVON.
So I'm going to get a list of all the contracts for everybody that's black off of the 78 and off of Sterling Bay. I'm working on that now. I got somebody working to get me that list. And then what we want to do is be able to watch that list and watch those businesses, see when they hire, see how many people they put on, and have they been good assets to our team. Right? I just don't like to be bamboozled and hoodwinked. Take a moment, share the broadcast. I'm saying, no one man should have all this power. Todd, what you got, man?
That's what the police captain says about Malcolm X in the movie.
No one man should have all this power.
Yes, power. That's what we're all. Well, that's what basically we're talking about. It's just power. How do we get ours, and how do we make it work for the larger group? That's what it's about. Making it work for more people. Where are we?
Neighborhood Development Committee is Chicago Blackhawks chair Rocky Wirtz. See, they don't want no police on the committees.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, you're right. Part of it is finding out what's going on by being in these on these committees. I mean, those who know are always going to do better than those who are trying to figure out what's going on. And also, when you're on these committees, there's always that opportunity to make to network. People telling you things that you wouldn't know.
All right, y'all. Take a moment, share the broadcast. I got that, Patrick. Thank you. What up, Lente? What up, Patricia Cunningham? What up, Leah? Welcome home. What up, Albert Muhammad? What up, Patrick Brutus? Et tu, Brute? Don't forget, I'm looking for Democratic committeemen, shadow committeemen. If you are interested and you believe you can organize 50 people in your ward or township, please inbox me. We'd like to get you on board. What up, Oscar? What up, Verdella? What up, Helen? What up, Berto? Beto? What up, Patrick? Patricia? Charmaine Henry? What up, Rose Dean? Y'all make sure y'all download. Is this a different mic? See, y'all, the challenge becomes right now, how many people are going, once they get theirs, are they still going to hold the white boys to the fire? Right? I've been there. What up, Arnold Coleman? Is Arnold Coleman, what was the name? No, that was Arnold Jackson. What's funny, Todd?
Oh, Donald Trump called the president of Puerto Rico corrupt.
He did, he is corrupt. You ever been to Puerto Rico?
Huh?
When I talk about Puerto Rico, that
Donald Trump's the president of Puerto Rico. They have a governor.
Oh, damn. I thought Todd was frozen too. He was like, look.
My love, I wanna see him kiss.
He looked like I thought it was frozen.
Goodbye.
You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. That singing in the background is actually Todd and Sonia Escobar. She's the musical conductor. He's the co-host. I am the host of the WVON Morning Show. And that 999 goodbye you heard is about Mayor Rahm Emanuel. He presided over his last city council meeting. You know what? We're going to talk about that, but I got to take this call. Mike, you're on the Talk of Chicago 1690. What's up, man?
Good morning, man. How are you?
Good morning, Mike. How you feeling, my brother?
I'm good. Hey, I'm proud of you, man. You're putting these black thoughts out into the neighborhood. That's where they need to be.
What?
That's your biggest obstacle, man. It's our mindset, our believing that we can do things for ourselves. So, hey, man, I applaud you. I commend you, and I'm standing with you.
Thank you, my brother Mike. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, Don't be scared of the number billion. There are white men all over the place. They be like, oh, it's only $1 billion.
Only a
Like
billion.
for themselves. Like, think about this. You got $2 billion for 2 companies. They was like, we can get $2 billion up out them. We said we want $1 billion for the whole community, but I'm gonna tell y'all, don't be embarrassing me. Don't have me go up there ask for $1 billion and they say, okay, we got it. What you gonna do?
Yeah, but doesn't this also speak to the question of TIFs and what TIFs mean? Because TIFs were created for blighted and depressed areas. Can you truly say that 12th Street is blighted and depressed? Or the Lincoln Yards?
Well, I can tell you that they are blighted and depressed, actually.
And what does blighted mean?
There's nothing there, right? It's like vacant, barren land. There's not, I mean, you look at both of those places.
So you're saying that if there is vacant land, that makes something depressed?
Well, I'm saying on the south side, I'm saying they got a case for it. I'm saying we got a case for it too. Like, I'm letting them have it.
I'm saying this is not what the
TIF was
original
used for.
legislation was designed for.
All right. It's usually, what they did was, like I told y'all, they used the pain and suffering of black people to profit white people. So they said, look at these terrible neighborhoods right here. Give us TIF money because we're going to fix these. And then the white boys was like, you got it? Got it? Good. We gone. And they took the money and ran. Now, I will tell you again, 27th Ward Alderman Walter Burnett has mastered the use of the TIF. Because if you look at Madison, shameless plug, I live on Madison. If you look at Madison, if you recall 20, 30 years ago, Todd, that was the place you went when you was looking for, a little companionship. Right? You could drive down Madison and
it was truly depressed.
The
definition.
And he used it to turn that neighborhood around. Speaking of that, and he's been a good partner of Mayor Rahm Emanuel. It's funny to me to see the difference in how we view the mayor and how City Council viewed the mayor. I don't think that there was much affection for Mayor Daley towards the end of his reign of whatever you call it. It seemed to me that, and I'll maintain this, and let me be clear, I don't think that you can ever remove Laquan McDonald from the legacy of Mayor Rahm Emanuel.
Right.
You cannot. He is permanently linked, and I think that is going to forever tarnish his brand or reputation. But I will tell you that for most of the black aldermen that I've talked to, they enjoyed working with him because they felt like he was a negotiator. You know what? So here are the words of 27th Ward Alderman Walter Burnett as he wishes Mayor Rahm Emanuel farewell. Y'all better watch yourself too. I know how y'all about to do, but go ahead. Go ahead,
So
son.
I describe you, a couple of things to describe you. As a nudger, a pusher, my Hebrew homie. Someone who has helped me to get experience of not just representing my ward, but the feeling of representing the whole city of Chicago. Is that people don't want to recognize the stuff that you do or have done. Just in this city council, in this city hall, we have more African Americans in charge of departments than we ever had in history. We got an African American police superintendent.
Y'all might not like it, but it's true.
African fire commissioner.
That's true. They don't
Chief
like that.
financial officer, chief operating officer, budget director, head of sewer and water. I can go on and on. And so many women have gotten leadership roles that, I know you came out of the, when you first came here, the media beat you up so bad they were all over you, they haven't let go. They don't want to recognize all of these things that you've done, have done in our community.
So, I'm going to tell y'all. So, you can't, I already know how this is getting ready to go. But I'm going to tell you that I think that Mayor Rahm Emanuel has a mixed legacy. I'm going to tell you that I personally, as much smack as I talk about, my neighborhood has tremendously benefited. And I did not live in a neighborhood. When I got there, it was not the peaches and cream neighborhood that it is. And there are still a lot of I mean, I live in a neighborhood that is transitioning or changing, or everybody's trying to figure out where it goes. But I'm telling you, nobody says, take back the grocery store. Nobody says, we don't really want West Randolph Fulton Market. I see so many people working. You know, I think Rahm, if you knew how to use him properly, then he could benefit. I don't think that black people, honestly, knew how to use Rahm to the maximum benefit. I don't know if you've not ever really experienced development that you know how to talk to developers. I don't know if you, I think this was the first time you saw massive money, like not Chicago money, but world money come to Chicago. And I don't think that people, I don't know if our aldermen or our elected official or even the black community knew how to exercise that. I really think you could have made Rahm Emanuel pay for anything you asked for. Because remember when I told y'all he was going to give everybody a free iPad? Remember that? And the CPS did it, and I was like, he going to give every kid a free iPad. Do y'all know I was talking to one of his good friends, and I was like, you know, I bet if Rahm gave away a free iPad to everybody. Do you know this fool sat down, took out a calculator, did the math, and said, oh, that's only $100 million. We can raise that. And I am suggesting that you can never, ever, ever, ever separate Rahm from Laquan McDonald. But when you look at the city of Chicago, it's still a tale of two cities. But it's a lot of stuff that done happened in the last 8 years.
Yeah, but it all happened around this area. Sure, you live in a neighborhood that's changing. You can throw a rock from here and hit your neighborhood. If I lived 5 feet from the loop, I would say the same thing, but I don't. I live 8 miles from the loop. Is that 8 miles? What's that, 10 miles? It doesn't matter. I live a long way. And I don't see that in my neighborhood. I see Target moving. I don't see anybody coming to take their place. I see U.S. Works being there forever. I see people talking about the Regal and why can we put money in that? We put money. That's because they didn't put no real money in the Regal. They threw a little stuff at it and say, you guys, you go ahead. Now you make something happen. No, we don't do the same stuff. How can we be happy with him?
Look, so...
see, I wasn't even thinking about that till you made that big speech.
So all I'm saying is, look, I think that there's... Look at Todd. Tell him how you really feel, Todd. You know what I say, though? I also say that it's a function of not knowing what to ask for. Let me suggest that...
I don't disagree.
I'm going to suggest...
That's the problem with all black folks. We don't know what's out there, so we don't know what we can actually get. And our minds aren't big enough to understand the big money because we've never seen big money. That guy who pulled out the calculator, he's been running around big money forever because that's what they got.
And I'm suggesting that one of the things that I saw happen over the Rahm Emanuel tenure, and I just had an opportunity to watch, right? I don't think that black people fundamentally, when you sitting in the room next to one of the richest people in the world, you don't say, I need a park. You say, when you got somebody that's sitting there and they willing to do whatever to get their boy reelected, you don't say, you know what, I was just thinking, could we get more garbage cans on the south side of Chicago? When these fools are like, what do you need? What do you build? I watched as Skinner School got a whole new annex. I watched as the community, when Sterling Bay wanted to build a building, I watched a whole new library get built. They was like, shoot, we want this $100 million deal. What can we do? And I'm going to tell you, Todd, that I don't think that black people know what to do when they're around money. I'm going to tell you that the loudest people ask for the littlest things. They will come in the black room and tell you you ain't jackbone and you ain't got nothing like them. They get around the white boys and they be like, hey guys. They be like, hey you colored guys, you want to hang out with us? We'll give you a little bit of something to do. I am telling you that I think black people, we should have shook Rahm down. We should have turned him upside down, took all the money, all them billionaires that would have came around the world. You know how Harold Washington said, take the money and vote for somebody else?
Right.
We should have took the money, and now the money gone. Talking Chicago, 1690. We'll be back.
More of the morning show with Maze Jackson.
See, I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? When you got a Vic, you don't let the Vic go. You juice the Vic.
Gotta sit down and talk. I don't understand how that guy could call Mayor Hebrew brother.
Hebrew homie.
Homie. Because we have nothing in our neighborhoods. Well, how could you
I don't agree with that. Have you been to his neighborhood?
No, his neighborhood.
His neighborhood, but what about...
He's the alderman of one neighborhood. He is the alderman of one neighborhood, and let me just tell you. So, there's two things, and then I'm going to let you have it.
Okay.
When you fundamentally understand what your job is as an alderman, right? And I'm going to tell you that, again, I talk about my guy. It ain't very complicated for him. It's not complicated. I get elected within these 4 boundaries. I am going to do everything that I possibly can to deliver for everything in these 4, in the boundaries of these 4, whatever they've put. If I keep putting more stuff inside of these boundaries, whether I put it in the West Loop, I make sure that the West Loop, the east end of the ward, the west end of the ward is getting jobs, contracts, and opportunities. And then I tell people like Sterling Bay, all of my vacant land, I want you to build 3 flat affordables in the same place. He won for his people, and he got reelected. The problem is we look at the city council as a legislative body for the whole city, but everybody is looking out for their fiefdom. Now, what happened with Alderman Burnett was because he was in the prime spot, the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund was created because if all the money went back that was being created in the 27th Ward went back in the 27th Ward, we would be walking down streets of gold. Because you got every corporation, you got McDonald's, you got Google, you got everybody has come to that area. What he said was, you know what? I know I'm going to have all the riches of the world. So I'm going to allow you to take the proceeds that would really be coming back to my ward and create the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund. By doing that, then he went on the Plan Commission and went on a variety of other things and has always been like moving the needle. So this whole concept of these black business owners, these black gang street members now getting a piece of these deals, like he moved a lot of the guys that were in his ward into partnership deals with Sterling Bay and with Related Midwest. So when he said, how do I stop the gang violence in my neighborhood? This is how I see doing it, by creating businesses. And Ron partnered with him and told all them big ass people, you have to partner with them. Come on, we gotta go back to that. Come on. You can sit in if you want to. It's just when I had a first say and see to it. It's both, James. You are tuned into Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting in with me is my man, Todd Stroger. He's former Cook County Board President. Todd, Rom is on his way out. What's his legacy? Give me a call, 312-374-8130. Sonia came in here and said, how could Alderman Burnett call Rom his Hebrew homie? And I'm just going to tell y'all, man. If you recognize that your job as the alderman is to represent your ward specifically first, then I'm going to tell you that for Alderman Burnett, man, Rom did a good job. But let's go to the phone lines. Renee, you on the Talk Chicago 1690 AM.
Hey, good morning, and thanks for taking my call.
Thank you, Renee.
Ron may have had more black heads under his administration, but those bodies were definitely white bodies. He got rid of a lot of teachers with all those school closings. The police department, he keeps finding a lot of whites and Asians and Hispanics out here, but not black people. Fire department might have a black head, but the fire department actual workers, they're not black. He's fired more black city workers and brought in white workers well, I can't say any other mayor, but I know there were some articles in the Reader about it.
Okay.
He has not done anything to help black Chicago. He helped gentrify black Chicago. I see a lot of whites moving into my neighborhood in Lawndale. So he didn't help black people. He wasn't fair. He wasn't even. He segregated the city more.
Okay. I thank you, Renee. I could give you that. I'm going to tell you the tale of two cities has increased, without a doubt. Because I'm going to tell you, it's a lot of rich people that done moved here. You know what? Some days I'm on my way leaving the Soho house, and I say, good Lord. What world do y'all live in? It be white people walking their dogs at 1 o'clock. Just chilling out, sitting outside, drinking cafe au lait. Let me go to line 2. Is Charles, is he still there? Charles, you want to talk Chicago, 1690. Oh, Harold. Go ahead, Harold Lucas. Cuss us out.
Well, you know, Ron, and let's don't leave Obama out of this. You got to realize he got endorsed twice by Obama. Ain't nothing happening on the South Side. 2 projects. The Presidential Center and that bank on 63rd Street, trying to tear that down for the USC. Rahm has brought about the regentrification, the systematic regentrification and pricing of African Americans specifically. Lord, I ain't going to talk about the 1%ers because they might make it, right? But the masses of black people have been disenfranchised and displaced by Rahm and replaced by illegal Hispanics in Sanctuary City.
Man, I'm going to tell you, I agree with all of that. I agree with all of that. My question is, so like, do we want to, so there's 2 things, because my Sonia Escobar, I love Sonia sometimes. I love her all the time, but this is a good one. Because she was like, boy, y'all called to curse everybody out. I still ain't got nobody telling me what we're going to do with that $1 billion, though. Right. See, I'm trying to get that bit. See what I'm saying, though? You see how y'all calling up here to snap off? But ain't nobody calling to tell me what we're going to do with that $1 billion. But that's okay, because I got my man, the real Mike O'Connor, on the phone line. What's up, Mike? How you feeling, man?
Hey, good morning. You know, Harold Lucas was absolutely correct, but you were absolutely correct, because in this city, we had a legacy of not answering for each and every. We still are trying to figure out what the committee process is and how public policy dooms us when it comes to our tax dollars. I mean, how many times do you have to correct somebody, or one of your other station people educate people for not knowing the basics about the money concerning public policy? Now, you're absolutely correct. Ron took care of those who took care of him. That's what happens with politicians. That's why he was reelected. And if he had not been caught with that tape, he would be mayor today. Yep. That's my comment for today.
Thanks, Mike. I'm going to tell you, I think we got to do a better job, y'all, of asking and demanding. It's like, so now we going to, look, y'all going to hold the fee. You got the dude with the piggy bank, and you had him buy, what do they call that, the short hairs?
Short hairs.
And y'all spent the whole time complaining instead of shaking them down. Like, see, if the mob would have had them, they would have called that bleeding them out. Mm-hmm. They would have bled them out. Every week, Ron would have been cutting a new ribbon somewhere. It became a certain point where he was like, well, I can't do nothing with none of y'all, so I'm just going ahead and spend my money over here. Now, y'all, we have got to make sure that, it's like, you ever seen a fight when they stand somebody up to keep beating them up?
Yeah.
We got to learn how, like, when you got the guy with the money, you beat him up enough, but you beat him up enough so that he feel like he still got some hope. I think we beat Ron Popeless, and then he was like, you know what, I'm just going to spend all this money up north. Because I'm going to tell you, if you would have told him he had to spend $600 million on the south side to get this $1 billion done, he would have done it. Yeah. Look, but I'm going to tell you what, I bet we took the Negro deal. I bet. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go get them contracts, and I tell y'all what, y'all better have some real equity. Let me go to Linda. Listen, Linda.
Good morning.
Good morning.
WVON Village.
How you feeling, sister?
I'm feeling real good. The reason why is gentrification going on. Y'all forget that white people were flooded out all over this, this land, and took Homeland Security money, who moved them here. Not like the people with Katrina. They moved them here and let them start all over again. That's why gentrification all over the city of Chicago and other places, because They went to Homeland Security, who was nice to them, gave them money to move in homes. Not like the people they did with Katrina. They gave them trailers, okay?
There it is. All right.
There it is.
Okay, that was an interesting one. That was Linda. Listen. Let me tell y'all. I'm going to tell you that I think that we are going to be in for an economic slowdown. Now, on the rest of the city. I'm gonna say that the South and West Side has already been part of an economic slowdown. I think that I don't think we're gonna have anybody to shake down going forward. Right? Like, I don't think you're gonna have a mayor that romps around with multi-billionaires who can do things that Rom could have done. I still never forget 100. I said you need to buy every kid in CPS an iPad. That dude pulled out a calculator and was like, "We can do that." It's Talk Chicago 16. It was $100 million. It's Talk Chicago 16. Like, we'll be back after traffic news and the weather.
The Talk of Chicago and the voice.
$100 million.
I'm saying, bro, and okay. The thing is, some of these people that you talk to at Ron, like, their understanding of money is way different than ours. And I'm telling you that I bet you off this Lincoln Yards project, I bet you it ain't $100 million in black contracts. I bet you it ain't.
I'm sure you're right.
I bet you it ain't $100 million in black contracts.
No. We'd have to bring the people to the table, and they'd have to have the capacity to do what they want. You know, we're such small fry. That's really our biggest problem. We're small fry, and you know how, like, when Mayor Daley was the mayor, he basically made millionaires, especially in, like, construction. I mean, like, the Hispanic guys, they may have been an engineer or something, but it was like, look, there's going to be a contract coming out, it's going to be this big, you get a firm together and you'll get a piece of it. And those guys just exploded.
And Rom did that.
Not to mention the Bridgeport guys.
Right. But he made sure the Bridgeport guys got, and then he made sure that the Hispanics got, because that was the alliance. See, I feel like Rom but Daley made local millionaires.
Right.
Rom made billionaire traders and hedge fund people hundreds of millions to long-term billions. I think.
Isn't he from Skokie?
Huh?
Isn't he from Skokie or somewhere up there? What did you expect?
Highland Park.
Highland Park. That's even worse. I know a lot of people from Highland Park. I played a lot of basketball with those Highland Park people. Yeah, they got their own society up there. I mean, I guess in a way that's the danger of having a mayor who isn't born in a big city like Chicago. They don't truly have any ties to the city. Their friends are different. So yeah, I mean, I expect them to make that Highland Park society, which is a wealthy society in the beginning, they grow money off of old money, and so you would expect them to know a lot of rich people, just like he and his brother are rich. So we're not getting things.
Y'all remember
Part of business has always been who you know. You know, people talk about politics and who you know. Business is the same way, probably even greater so. If you can't get yourself in the door, you're not going to get the job. If you know the guy because you all live on the same block or in the same building, there's odds that you're going to get the job. So we got to realize that we are operating from the back, and we have to force ourselves in the front. And the way you force yourself is through deals like this, actually. They want to see this Lincoln Yards happen. I mean, this is huge. And for Emmanuel, it's like being one of those crazy people who go out and hunt animals in the jungle. This is like a lion's head for him. He can put this on his wall and say, look what I did. I did this. I made this happen. But Mace is right. You know, kind of let the barn out the door. You're supposed to get things, and it's really more than contracts. You're supposed to help the businessmen get contracts, but also the elected officials are, part of their goal is to say, look, we're porting this tip money all over the place. We got this land right here. I got a guy who wants to do this. I want to see some money go there. I'm not sure if that happened. We'll see. You know. Well, actually, it probably should have happened already because you got a new mayor coming in, and mayors are like dictators. They can stop things in a minute. So I hope we got more than.
So what specifically are you looking for WJBC?
I just want some stuff from Johnson Publishing, right? Remember they owned the TV station. I mean, they own that. But I just wanted just a little clip.
Okay.
If there's any clips, hey. If we have any clips or anything from Linda Johnson or like something from John Johnson, some historic stuff and like about black empowerment or whatever, and then then we'll bring it up to how they lost. But we're gonna do Joe first.
Did they lost? Yeah. Who would have known?
Lion's head mounted on the wall, Todd. I got a lion. Share me.
Actually, I'm not a fan of going out and killing animals.
What? I wanted to do the big five. I want to kill an elephant, a lion, a water buffalo, a rhino, and a hippo.
See, this is the problem with growing up in places like Bolingbrook. You take on those crazy white people dreams of going out and hunting poor animals who ain't done you no harm whatsoever.
I want to go to the man. First of all, I didn't get that from growing up in Bolingbrook.
Where did you get that from?
I got that from a multi-millionaire safari man who took me to Africa, and he explained to me the big five. But you got to pay, like to shoot an elephant, it's like $20,000. To shoot a lion is like...
Shoot an elephant? Holy crap. You know why? Because that's illegal.
No, it's not.
You're not supposed to shoot elephants.
If you go to a place where they have a permit, you can.
That should be illegal.
Man, I woke up one day. I was at one place where I woke up and the elephants were tearing up the forest on the way home. Them chunks was literally pulling trees out of the ground by the root.
That's because they knew you crazy people were out there trying to kill them.
I wasn't hunting.
Elephants are smart.
I wasn't hunting. I was kicking it at the European hostel.
You know what the elephant's thinking? This brother is supporting these people. We need to trample him.
Them suckers was big. Like, it's one thing to see an elephant. I got a picture where the elephants were grazing on the Zambezi River, and we brought and so we rowed the boat up to where they were at, and the elephant charged, and we was like, he ain't gonna do nothing. And the boat guy was like, man, the elephants can swim, and he will come over here and turn this boat over. And then the hippos, which are the meanest, nastiest animals ever, they will eat your ass up. That sucker, I saw, they was like, do not mess with the hippos. No. I was like, oh, hungry hippos.
Yeah, right. Yeah, hungry.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Rise and shine with the WVON Morning Show. Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Featuring Maze.
I knew that was gonna get y'all bent out of shape. I wouldn't shoot the big five. I wouldn't do it. But I just wanted to shock value y'all. Y'all know I'm a shock chop, right? Did that wake you up?
Wake up!
I could have if I wanted to, though.
Young and single and free. Experience in love. Young trainee. My man, I'll win.
Woke y'all ass up, didn't I? Suckers. I wouldn't have did it. I had the chance. I wouldn't do it.
I'm gonna put it in a wine.
Y'all was mad. You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Hey, my co-host, Todd Stroger, is in with me. Got to say what's up to the WVON Morning Show team. What's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, as well as the Wonder Twins. That is Miss Sonia Escobar, as well as Sonia Tompkins. Todd Stroger's with me, but y'all know how we do at 8 o'clock on Thursdays. Now, if you have not already checked it out, go to uncomfortable-conversations.com and download the podcast, Maze Jackson, Joe Walsh. We have very uncomfortable conversations. You can get it on Spotify, you can get it on iTunes, as well as you can get it on Google Play. But hey, y'all, on the live line is my partner in crime, Joe Walsh. Joe Walsh from AM 560. We do this podcast, drops at midnight on Thursdays. Joe, how you feeling this morning, man?
It's good to talk to you, Todd Stroger. How are you, my friend?
Good morning, Joe.
Hey, so Joe, we had a great conversation yesterday. What do we do this time? You know what? Sometimes, my short-term memory goes away. Sometimes I think we talked a little bit about guns. Did we talk about black people?
You're getting older, Maze. You're getting older, man. You're getting a little bit older. Blacks. We talk about black people and gun ownership.
Yes, and go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say you said some interesting things. How there are a number of black men and women in the city, especially, who are looking to get their concealed carry permit.
Yes, there is in the Democratic Party there is this myth that has been purported that black people don't want guns. I think there's been a fear factor in saying black people should not take guns. But can I tell you what? Right here on the WVON Morning Show, every time we see a story of some person who had a home invasion or was about to get robbed and then they get popped, I think everybody cheers because it's like we're tired of being defenseless. And so I think that black gun ownership is one of those things that I thought would be interesting. But Joe, it was funny because I said that black people owning guns should make white people really nervous. And you said you had people who would help.
Oh, my God, yeah. No, look, I know there are a bunch of country club Republicans and a bunch of white liberals who don't like the idea of black gun ownership, which is horrible and racist. But, my God, yeah, all people, Maze, who believe in the Second Amendment believe that all Americans, white, black, and brown, have the constitutional right to defend themselves. A lot of gun owners in America would love to help black and white people own guns legally.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I think that it is one of the things, there's another one of those things where we can team up and partner on. Joe was talking about, actually, Todd, he has people in the suburbs who are willing to help fund the cost of black people paying for their concealed carry licenses. I was thinking we should have a giant what's in it for the black people, Joe Walsh Freedom gun registration we should do it right at Daily Plaza. What do you think that would look like?
Well, I was trying to get the Illinois Rifle Association to help us in the 21st Ward and do a free one, and the director was going to do it. And then all these people started shooting people up, and it seemed like they were doing that every other month, so he never had time, so we never got it.
It seems like it's more of a reason for us to go ahead and do it because, as we go into the summer, I just don't feel like we have to be defenseless. I was concerned, though, that perhaps, Joe, you got some really wild listeners, man. And, the history of black people and guns does not seem to bode well. But then you told me a story about the NRA making a big push in the black community. What was that about?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Mace. I would encourage all your listeners. The NRA has a long history in being they were a huge advocate to arm black Americans so that they could defend themselves against the KKK. The NRA was one of the driving forces behind that. And again, I know the NRA gets a bad rap in a lot of circles, but they've been there helping black Americans defend themselves from the very beginning, especially against the KKK.
Oh yeah, the NRA only got crazy somewhere, I think it was in the 80s.
Oh wait, so because I was gonna say, why does it seem like the NRA members are the people that we would be needing to be defended from?
That's because you do remember Charleston Heston and prying that rifle from his cold hands. Right, and when Moses spoke, boy, people listened.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, Joe, that is all part of the things that we talk about on Uncomfortable Dash Conversations. You can check us every day. Go to the website. You can download us. You can go to iHeart. You can, I keep saying iHeart, iTunes. Google Play, as well as Spotify. You can also catch Joe on AM 560 every afternoon. Joe, what else did we talk about yesterday? I'm blanking.
You know, we talked about how things are, and it'd be interesting to get Todd's viewpoint on this. Things are getting a little testier racially in the country right now, we're sensing.
Ah, that's right.
It's the dog whistle.
Yeah.
Trump, unfortunately, I just actually heard this when I heard an interview of a young lady. She's some kind of sociologist, and she was saying that people in higher places, people pay more attention than, and paying more attention than when Mays and I speak. But when the president speaks, everybody actually pays attention. So he can say things, and it may not just beat you over the head, but you can hear what he's trying to tell you. And when he made that statement about being good people on both sides, well, both sides figured, hey, he's on our side. So one of those sides ain't.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you what. We, as our society becomes more and more politically correct, and we keep on coming up with these things, I feel like Donald Trump is building momentum, because this third bathroom, all of these different things, and I'm going to tell you that the dog whistle may be working for some black people too, because I'm telling you, the world is getting a little bit out of control right now. I keep telling you, Handmaid's Tale. Handmaid's Tale, it's coming. Joe Walsh, man, well, I'm going to tell you what, I am looking forward to talking to you later on this afternoon, but tell people how they can find you.
Follow me on Twitter at Walsh Freedom. Otherwise, AM 560, 5 to 7 p.m. Great stuff. Look forward to talking to you, man. It's good talking to you, Todd.
Take care.
That is Joe Walsh. That is my partner in crime, Uncomfortable Conversations. Go download the podcast. Hey, I was looking at the feedback from that, guys, and it seems like we're starting to pick up some steam. We got about a good 400 loyal listeners that are going, but I want to encourage you all to go check it out. Uncomfortable Conversations. Speaking of Uncomfortable Conversations, Todd, Johnson Publishing Company, Ebony, Jet, WJPC, Ebony Fashion Fair, all of those iconic brands and labels, they were the definition to me of black success growing up.
Oh man, if you were black, and especially if you lived in Chicago, well, if you live in Chicago, all of those brands touched you that you just spoke of.
And it is a shame, Todd, to know that the Johnson Publishing Company, founded by John H. Johnson, is now filed for bankruptcy, but not reorganization, liquidation.
Wow, that's amazing.
When we come back, we're going to talk about how does a black legacy and empire go away like that. I mean, John Johnson, Ebony, Jet, it's iconic. But what happened to the brand? We'll talk about it all when we come back. Stock Chicago 1690.
More of the morning show with Mays Jackson.
Trying to think of some white things that died like that.
Levi's.
I'm wearing Levi's right now. You don't know nothing, Mays Jackson. I think I'm wearing Levi's.
Gap.
Pretty sure. The Gap's still going strong. No, Old Navy is the Gap.
Old Navy is not the Gap. They're spinning off.
They may be spinning off, but they own Old Navy.
What happened to Soft Sheen?
Children weren't interested. They took their $80 million or whatever and left. I don't know what they got, but they took their money and went off to other things.
See?
I don't. Well, that's funny because that's.
But they sold it to white people.
Oh,
now turn our hair care prices.
They had no interest really in being in the neighborhood.
But they got interest in that multi-billions that they make off them sisters.
Yes. I mean, see, that was the problem. The problem was the children did not want to carry their business on. I think we just spoke about this yesterday, where I was talking to my accountant on 79th Street, or maybe that was in my head. Kirkwood's been there, I don't know, let's see, if I'm 56, I bet Kirkwood's been there for at least 40 years.
Experience.
And he was talking about how the stores around him, where the children in those stores, who were now, grown men and women, weren't interested in coming back and working with their parents. And eventually their parents got old and the stores closed, or somebody came with a suitcase full of money who was not from the neighborhood, and they bought the store, and maybe they're running it now. Well, so I've seen, I know a couple of the kids, not like we went out and did things together, but I know them, and they weren't interested in running the business. They wanted to do their own thing.
Because you have the money to do it. And your parents have the money to let you go do your own thing. See, because the thing is, the problem is, parents want their kids to live out their dreams, right? So when you have the ability to let your kid be who you want them to be, who they want to be, you do it. Tywin Lannister.
But I found that happens in white families too. I knew a guy. His father had a firm. He was an engineer, and they made, I don't know what they did, but I talked to his son, and his son was going to school, and he had no interest in going back and working for his father. And my assumption is that business probably
should be grateful that your family got in the way of your recklessness. I'm giving you half of our forces, 30,000 men.
Is this
Hold on. Remind her that Lannisters pay their debts.
I didn't realize you placed such a high value to my father's life.
He's a Lannister. Maybe the lowest of the Lannisters, but he's one of us. And every day that he remains a prisoner, the less our name commands respect.
So the Lion does concern himself with the opinions.
No, that's not an opinion, it's a fact. If another house can seize one of our own and hold him captive with impunity, we are no longer a house to be feared. Your mother's dead. Before long I'll be dead. And you, and your brother, and your sister, and all of her children. All of us dead. All of us
Sonia,
in the ground.
I just sent you some audio.
Family name that lives on. It's all that lives on. Not your personal glory, not your honor, but family.
Tell her I just sent her this
Do you
clip.
understand?
I want to play it. I'm gonna play it going out.
You're gonna play it going out.
No, have her play it going out.
Going out of what? This segment?
Going out of this. Well, going out of this break. I wanted like 2 minutes.
You're blessed to belong to the most powerful family in the kingdoms.
You hear this?
John Johnson.
You're still blessed with you.
This Tywin Lannister.
Okay.
What have you
So
done?
you're gonna cue her when you want her to play it?
Yes, but tell her I want that clip. She might be able to chop it up and take some of the BS out of it, but I want the big chunks of it.
All over the world. All over the world.
You are tuned in to Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. My man, Todd Stroger. Todd, you
Soul Train.
What you know? We on the Soul Plane.
I know. You know I'm older than you, right?
You are? How much?
I know Channel 26. That's what I know.
Oh, you know. So you knew Soul Train was on Channel 26? See, I knew it was on Channel 9.
We used to watch it on Channel 26.
See, when I go down and do Channel 26 to you.
That's when it was here in Chicago.
Yeah, when it was Channel 26 to you, I go down there and I be like, this is where they shot Soul Train. But you know what? Speaking of Soul Train, let me move on, Todd. Let's talk about Black legacies. And the fact that Johnson Publishing Company, you realize that the Johnson Publishing Company was the iconic black brand / label. There was the Defender with the Sin Stacks, but when it came to black culture, black arriving, the who's who of the world, the Jet Beauty of the week. Good God!
And don't forget the back, the top R&B songs.
Oh, the songs, the charts.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, you wanted to see that.
Johnson. So John Johnson was the founder of Johnson Publishing, and he basically said, "I'm gonna reshape the way people look at black folks." And so he put together what I would call is the Source magazine of its day. You know what the Source is? The Vibe magazine of its day.
Oh, yeah, I've heard.
Okay, they were the books that you went to find out what was going on in black America around the country.
I looked to see who got married. I don't know those people.
Right, you look and see who got married. Yeah. You look to see who was the most influential black people across the country. I mean, it was the book. It was the publication. I remember going to my auntie house and they would get Ebony, and we would take the Ebony and take it back to Bolingbrook, and then I would be like the star and pass it around in the neighborhood. I got the Ebony, I got the new Ebony, I got the new Jet. And Lord have mercy, that Jet Beauty of the week.
They were always a beauty.
Goodness gracious. And so many of them was from Chicago, so you'd be walking around like, you's a Jet Beauty. Well, Todd, as have many of the iconic black brands done, Ebony Jet, Johnson Publishing, is now going out of business. They filed for bankruptcy. Now, they did not file for reorganization bankruptcy. They filed for liquidation, as in selling everything. Now think about this. They are the only black-owned and designed building on Michigan Avenue. Yeah. The Ebony Jet building. They sold it away.
You know the story about that. He wanted to buy that property, and he knew they wouldn't sell it to him, so he had to have a front man who was white go in there and get it.
Right. And then, you know, he was a Republican, I think. But, you know, he also, because the rich black people always wound up being Republicans back in the day. But also, I was hearing the story, that was one of the only buildings in downtown Chicago that actually had a driveway. Right? A driveway where, and John Johnson had so much clout that old man Mayor Daley, the original one, when the white guys wouldn't give him a permit, he said, man, you better get that man a permit, and they didn't go through no Department of Planning. They just gave the man a driveway. Well, think about this.
And, you know, at that time there wasn't a lot of things south that way.
Right. So 200 South Michigan, the only black-owned building sold, and they sold it to Columbia College for $8 million, who turned around and sold it for $16 million, and now some white guys have it, and they about to turn it into apartments.
That's exactly how it works, man.
Man.
I think my mother used to work for Fashion Fair.
Man, and so the last vestige, remember they sold off Ebony Jet. They sold that to a holding company. Right. So we'll still at least have that online.
Listen to WJPC.
Man, WJPC. That's the first time I remember Tom Joyner.
That's right.
WJPC. He came to my school when I went to St. Anselm's. And he had a big old afro. And I was like, man, you don't look like you sound on the radio. That's when I realized he was like Peach. Tom Joyner was like Peach with an afro. Now he bald-headed.
Yeah, but he's a Q. So, man, he is definitely black.
I hope he don't get no Me Too's anytime soon. Oh, but let me stop. So, Todd, when you see an iconic brand like that go down in the black community, you gotta ask, what happened? How does a black empire like that fall?
Right.
To the point where, you know, like you think about John Johnson, he was probably almost a billionaire in those type of terms back in the day.
Yes.
And now when you look at the fact that his one generation later, they are filing for bankruptcy, liquidation, selling it all. Think about all of the archives. Think about all the history. And you know what's going to happen? Somebody white is going to be like, let me buy all the black history. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be stuck. Todd, what happened to black legacies? It seems like, and I've heard this in the white community, but oftentimes the white folks sell the company to somebody white and it goes on, and the kids get to continue. In this case, it seems like to me, all of the, you know, there used to be 28 black businesses on the Black Enterprise 100 in Chicago. in the late 80s. Do you know how many there are now?
How many?
Just one.
Really?
This used to be the black mecca. One. The mecca of black business. The mecca of black everything was here. And Soft Sheen. Think about all the businesses. The Al Johnson Cadillacs, the Soul Trace. What happened to the legacy? I'll say so many of our parents, black parents, wanted their kids to go on and be able to do other things. But where did it leave us as a community? Sometimes I think that we value more in our community the ability to escape our legacy as compared to embracing and living and building upon it. You know what? How many of y'all watch Game of Thrones? I want y'all to hear this clip from Tywin Lannister, because I think that we as black people need to start understanding what family and how we continue our legacy. Some of you play what Tywin Lannister had to say about
If another house can seize one of our own and hold him captive with impunity, we are no longer a house to be feared.
Your mother's dead. Before long, I'll be dead. And you, and your brother, and your sister, and all of her children. All of us dead. All of us rotting in the ground. It's the family name that lives on. It's all that lives on. Not your personal glory, not your honor, but family.
Do you understand? You're blessed with abilities that few men possess. You're blessed to belong to the most powerful family in the kingdoms. And you're still blessed with youth. And what have you done with these blessings?
You've served as a glorified bodyguard for two kings. One a madman, the other a drunk.
The future of our family will be determined in these next few months. We could establish a dynasty that will last 1,000 years. Or we could collapse into nothing, as the Targaryens did. I need you to become the man you were always meant to be.
Not next year, not tomorrow.
the family. The legacy of the family is always more important than the individual goals and desires of one person. Tywin Lannister. I'm telling y'all, so many lessons in a Game of Thrones. We'll be back after traffic, news, and the weather. That was dope stuff, wasn't it?
I'll have to say the drama caught me.
That was dope. That was dope.
Yeah. Now I gotta figure out how to put time in there to actually watch it.
Hey man, they show a season a day right now on HBO. But if you sit down and watch one,
well, it's on Netflix, so
is Game of Thrones on Netflix?
I'm pretty sure I saw that.
I don't know, but I tell you what.
I got Netflix right here. Why don't I just look?
Dun, 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 dun. Soul Train, Soul Train.
Now, oh, wait a minute. Suggestions? Let's see.
Ma'am? Nah, it's on HBO on demand. I don't think they would give it to Netflix. I wouldn't give it to Netflix. Why would I give it to Netflix? I got the hottest shit in the world. I'm not giving it to Netflix so they can distribute it when I can make everybody come to my page and watch it.
Right. And maybe watch it.
Y'all, see that, Todd? That was deep. Did your dad ever have any conversations like that about that with you? No, like he didn't say like, son, you are powerful and you are a part of a dynasty and that you must live up to, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, did you have to grow up in the ways of the sword?
No. I mean, he tried to make sure that we knew everything that was going on. You know, he'd take us places, not everything, but that we were acquainted with all the members of the noblemen. You know?
See, but it's like, I feel like the noblemen didn't give you the respect of being of the house of Stroger.
You know what's the interesting thing about that is, as I see it, is I could go a lot of places within the wards and talk to the elected officials, and they'll treat me like royalty. But they also realize that I'm royalty with a red badge. I got the scarlet letter on me from the people who have the power now, who are the progressives. And until I try to put something together to run over their nation, they can't do too much with me.
Do you remember WJPC Christmas rap?
No.
I remember it like this. I was just singing it. We're gonna come back with WJPC Christmas rap.
Okay.
Cool.
It is so cool. Tom Joyner and then all of the guests, all of the hosts or co-hosts all have a line. And they're rapping to Rapper's Delight. It's really good.
Yeah. High school, great times. Yes, so like when I talked to Pat O'Connor was like, yes, you need to run for water rec and go back to the glory that your family deserves. So you get that out of guys, but you also realize that
you should run against Cam Davis.
There's white people. Who's that?
The white guy who stole Tim Bradford's seat. Remember what
That's not how it works. You can't just run against one person.
Yeah, I'm saying, but you should get slated, and you should get the slate. You should get the South Side seat. We should fight for you to get the slating on the South Side seat. What now that if you were on the team with the president, right? And instead of running against the president, you ran with the president. Then everybody works to get back because the South Side seat was hijacked when they made the deal to let it be Bishop Simon Gordon, and the progressives licked their chops because they was like, oh, y'all got the preacher. See, Joe Barrios chose him because he thought he would give them the churches, but the fact of the matter was the progressives they raised a couple $100,000 and ran a real campaign.
Well, no, that's the strength of the progressives. Right. Just like you were saying about Emmanuel, the strength of the progressives is they're rich. They got rich friends.
But the thing is, we have to neutralize their money with the weight of our vote. So like the progressives are rich, but they ain't got the numbers in at the slating table. The problem is we give them deference at the slating table. You shouldn't give them any room to breathe until, like, I swear to God, you know what I want to be? I would love to be the executive director of the Cook County Democratic Party.
Yeah. Who is it now?
Some white kid that got Tony Preckwinkle. Like what? Like, can I tell you, if I was the executive director of the Democratic Party, we would have a whip. Cause man, bro, you will be like, I would sit down and I would go. That's all right. That's why we building our own organization, cause our committeemen are gonna have to deliver votes. If the shadow process works and we deliver, we can either put the committeeman there or the committeeman will then adopt our organization. One of the two. Is get down and lay down, right? So it's like if you ain't got no people knocking on no doors and you ain't got an organization and I got 50 people already mobilized to work against what you're doing, you lose.
Go.
You hear is me, Tom Joyner, yelling in your ear. Your morning DJ of the year, just bringing you a little bit of Christmas cheer. When the air is cold, your winners are always bold. When the turns and it's hard and brittle, just warm up with LaDonna Tittle.
Now, when you see someone smile, you can bet your tip is on.
Now you know she's on the shot. LaDonna Tittle's on shot.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year too. Celebrate with just for you and a nut named Banana and a Santa Claus. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
You are tuned in to the Top of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. My man, Todd Stroger in the building. That is the WJPC Christmas rap. That goes back to tell y'all how old it is. Was that Tom Joyner was in there?
Oh, yeah.
Then you saw LaDonna Tittle. LaDonna Tittle in the middle. Remember, you know LaDonna Tittle is on The Shy.
I know because on Facebook, a lot of people are like, Hey, why they make LaDonna Tittle look like that? They were all upset about it.
LaDonna Tittle in the middle. I remember I couldn't say that too much because then it'd be like, what you say, boy? Hey, y'all, it is the WVON Morning Show. What happens to the Black legacy? What happens? How do we lose Johnson Publications? So I heard that it was going piece by piece, and finally the final straw was they lost Ebony Fashion Fair. Do you think that Johnson Publications was a victim of black people of white people buying black culture? Like, I think about now when I go into the store. I remember I used to get Afro Sheen. Right? Remember, you used to come in the black thing and it had the like Afrocentric type of bottle. It looked like kind of like a rounded pyramid, and you open it up and then you put the blue grease on your head. Oh, yeah. And then they had the black with like the sort of kente, and you walked in the store and you was like, ooh, that's the Afro Sheen aisle. And white folks saw, because we had our own products, they bought them all. You know, do y'all remember Sporting Waves? Let me tell you, Sporting Waves, Dax. Yeah. I remember Sporting Waves. Man, do you know, when I used to try and get waves, remember you used to be like, man, I got waves, my waves, so they make you seasick. I couldn't use Sporting Waves back in the day, though, because I had hard hair, so I had to use Dax. But do you think about this, Sporting Waves is made by white people now. Like, all of the black hair care products and major companies, all of those went, and the kids took the opportunity. Their parents built these multi-billion-dollar brands. Remember I told you black people made black millionaires back in the day? Because there was a need and white folks ignored us, and so black people said, we can make money off of our own people filling the needs of things that they have.
Right.
Now, and then what happened was the major corporations saw that, so they came and bought all the big companies. Remember, like you watching American Soul, remember when Dick Clark came to Don Cornelius and said, I want to buy Soul Train? Well, and he was like, this is my thing. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times we build companies for the big payday, which isn't a bad thing. But when you sell it, do you sell it to white folks who then take it and then go in? So that was the big level. Think about this, though, Ty. When I was growing up, all the stores in the neighborhood, not all the stores, but like the grocery store, the corner store, all that stuff, that was usually owned by black people. I remember when you go to Harold's or you go to J&J Fish and it was owned by black people. Uh-huh. Now you go to all these places and this Arabs. I remember you go to places like Smokey Joe's, get you some clothes. You go places, there was black people.
Right. Certified, we had grocery stores.
Right, certified. Remember them? Certified, all of that stuff. What was the place up here on 83rd? The grocery store. The black people owned the grocery store when I worked at Coke. Well, all of these places then became sold. And it wasn't black people that sold it. Like even my man Cam, right? Cam B. Now he's still black owned business. Right, Cam and Nate's. But remember they got who had the on 87th, the car wash. That used to be black owned. Yeah. But then the Arabs bought it.
Right.
And so we sold off all of them. Right. We sold off all of those.
Yeah.
And then they became.
But you know what some of those owners said?
What?
Some guy came to my business and he opened up a big briefcase. And cash is king, as you will.
And cash is king, and I'm not mad at that. But look where it leaves us. Like, I think like even with the Lyndon Johnson Rice thing, when she sold the building on 200 South Michigan, did she at least call black people first? Like, did she call the moneyed black people and say, hey, moneyed black people, because here's the problem. You're probably embarrassed that you got to sell it.
Yeah, that's right.
So you don't want to call the black people. You go sell it to the white people, and now it's out of our community.
Right.
And then the white folks, you took the 8, the white folks sold it for 16, and then they don't have no reason. There's going to be a plaque on that building that says, it used to be black people here. This used to be the biggest black business in the country.
That'd be funny if we should have like an ordinance that says when historic things like that, there should be a plaque that says, this used to be owned by black folks.
Right. Like, you know how, think about this. DuSable, the whole dang city, you got to drive up and down the street to find a bus. Right? Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Mama D. Mama D, you want to talk Chicago?
Hey, good morning, good guys.
Good morning. Did you call us the good guys?
Good guys. I'm getting me a white hat.
Yes.
That was a throwback.
Good guys. What happened? We almost had it all. Oprah, Michael Jordan, H.B. Fuller, the Daily Defender, Stalky. What happened was the heirs didn't realize that land is the basis of all wealth.
True that.
And they did not comprehend that legacy is more important than life because legacy lives on. It never died. But what I wanted to say was that we don't have a tale of cities. We have a tale of 3 cities.
You're right.
Because remember Ron said he wanted to make Chicago the most sanctuary-friendly city in the nation. And the aldermen gave them $1.3 million tax rebate dollars in a defense fund to defend them from being border breakers. But in conclusion, I think Lincoln Yards was earmarked to be sanctuary city. But what if Mayor Lori used that, decided to honor the vouchers of Cabrini Green and other displaced public housing residents that were told that they could come back and use their vouchers?
Oh, we should make them put a whole bunch of CHA vouchers in there. You know, Dan Bryant, the alderman, to be like, you know, we can't let the black people out after noon, after dark. Hey, you know what? Can I tell you another sad example of this? Has anybody driven by the old Chicago Defender building? Have you seen it? It's been redesigned. It's really great.
It really looks nice.
And you know what it is?
I've been in the old building and I was like, man, I sure wish I had some money to buy this thing. It was nice.
And think about that. Center Stack owned that right there in Michigan Avenue. Do you know what the value of that property is right now?
It's got to be off the chain.
Now check this out. And then what happened was some white boys came, bought it, said it's the historic Defender building, and we gonna make it a place where white people can get drunk and have parties every weekend. They are tap dancing. They have white weddings in the historic Chicago Defender building. Was our legacy taken from us or did we give it away?
I don't think we knew the value. It's just like you said, we didn't understand the value of the land. I don't think we understand the value of ownership. Once you own something, you are always something major in America. Actually, the world. That's how all these countries started, is the owners were the bosses. They still are.
And even after, it's so funny to me because we sold our businesses and took the buyout, and then white folks was like, man, if they're buying it, then there obviously is money in it. Nobody's trying to buy something that ain't worth no money.
Nope.
And so if they willing to give you $100 million for it, understand that. Remember I told you this week I was sitting by a white boy and a white man and they were saying they offered me $100 million for it. He was like, nah. Nah, I think if we hold on to it a little bit longer, we can do it. We don't have any debt. 100 million. What about 150 million? Yeah, I'll think about it. Let me tell you, fool come around here talking about I got 50,000 for you. Brothers be like, I got you. Oh, I take it. You put 6 zeros behind something, and it's like, again, if there was $1 billion, black people, what would we do with it? I think we've got to expand our mind and expand what is possible.
Right.
Because, again, you had the most powerful publishing company in the world. You could have shook the Democratic Party forever. But where did it go, y'all?
Well, also, you have to be able to figure out how to make yourself relevant in the new age.
That is true, because Instagram took a whole bunch of pictures out of the book. It's Talk Chicago 1690. We'll be back. We'll take your final questions, and we'll close this thing out. It's Talk Chicago 1690.
I think the secret of business is when the time comes and it's not selling, you gotta cut your losses and leave.
Yes, of course.
But many black people wait too long.
Way too long, yes.
You can't wait too long. If you're not making money, you gotta stop.
Yes.
And when white people are not making money, they stop. And sometimes I think they're stopping too fast.
More of the morning show.
So you know, what's his name? John Rogers? Not John Rogers. Johnson? No, the dude that on BET. What was his name?
Bob Johnson.
Bob Johnson. All these Johnsons.
Yeah.
Bob Johnson came on WVON when he sold BET. And he told us, it's a business. Why you all getting upset? It's supposed to say it.
But no, Bob Johnson sold, profited, and then went on to spur more businesses. He went on to become a hotel magnate. He went on to go, he took that money and built something. What I'm saying is, she is not selling. She is forced into liquidation. That is different.
That's different. You're right.
That is way different. John Johnson walked out. I mean,
when she sold the first time,
she sold out of necessity. She didn't sell the first time because it was a buyout. It was like, I'm Linda Johnson and I don't have the money to continue to put this thing on, so I'm going to sell it because if it's me, I say I buy it just for the brand and the you could buy it just for the archives, just for the photos. Think about Getty Images. They got probably every but think about it. They got every historical image.
They got Muhammad Ali. They got every black person ever anybody. Yeah.
In their robes, in places where you would have never seen them. Yeah. So eventually they could have sold that. So now you sell off the history. So now our history is, and it's in a hedge fund that we think is a black fund, but who owns that freaking fund? And at any point, somebody could come in and take it. So now you just sold off all your black history. Bob Johnson then went on to, he also got a piece of the Charlotte Hornets, right? That helped Michael Jordan open up and become an owner in the NBA. That now Michael Jordan is the largest employer of black NBA executives. Linda Johnson Rice, in my estimation, is now peeling this stuff off because when you look at when they put all her business in the street, it's like when you look at the bankruptcy, I mean, even Desiree Rogers is suing her. Right? And it's like, so what happens to a $1 billion legacy if you get, like, she seems like she might have been a trust fund baby. Like Reddy said it yesterday, if you ain't never had to work, right, and your dad didn't make you learn the business, and you got to just go be a socialite, and now the business is in your hands, and you don't know how, and so you keep handing it over to people who really can't understand, and in a changing time, right? In a time when this whole industry is changing, you haven't, and again, if you kicking it, instead of reinventing your business, and if people allow you to just come on and be a socialite or whatever, and you ain't really grinding at the family business,
I wonder, was her heart ever in it?
The problem is we think about heart. It's like, here's the thing. Heart or legacy. Like, that's the whole Tywin Lannister thing.
I still got it. If I'm not into it, I'm just not going to do it.
Okay, well, guess what? Guess what? Look at her now. And now what? Guess what? I bet she wish she would have been in tune with that mug right now.
I know.
Don't ask my neighbor. Don't be afraid. Come to me. Don't ask my neighbor. Come to me. Don't be afraid. Can't you see? I love you. Come to me. Don't be afraid. I can't act much same, boy. Don't ask my neighbor. Don't ask the neighbor. Hang around. Don't be afraid. Had to me. You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Ty.
And sometimes the 70s want to make me cry.
You make Ty. You killing our rep, bro. First you got the handsy uncle, now you want to cry.
I had had no true rap, and I don't mind being a nerd. I don't need validation from the rest of the Negroes.
I heard
Especially
that.
the men who think that they're all powerful. Man, forget you, brother.
Hey.
There you go, Tony.
Don't ask my neighbor. All right. Did you say Ashe? See? Come on, let me get my snap on. Snap, 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 snap.
You know that's from the 50s, right?
What?
That's what the
snap snap?
Yeah, that's from the dang it, not the hippies, before the hippies. God, I can't remember what they called. Yeah, the cool cats from Dobie Gillis and all that stuff.
You did.
That's
Was
right.
Dobie Gillis high?
No, it was his
Was Gilligan high?
Yes, it was Gilligan.
He was always high for real?
Oh, on the show?
Yeah.
No, but you knew he was one of those guys.
It reminds me
But
of.
they couldn't say that back in those days.
Oh, okay. So it was like, what's the name of that? What's the other one? The 70s show? You know, they used to always be like, and then. That's
They were
right.
always high.
Man, I love the 70s show, man. All right, let's go to the phone lines very quickly. Let's go to EK. I'm going to go straight down the list, and then we're going to close this thing up. EK, you're on Talk Chicago 1690. What's up?
Hey, everything's cool, guys. Listen, the problem with the Johnson Publishing is they didn't change with the times. You got to change with the times. You got to be dynamic. He should have sold it when it was at its peak value and it got into some other stuff. He had done that, they would have had a legacy. Bob Johnson did that with BET, and now he has all these hotels and other things that he's in. There are no more Sears. There's no more Woolworths. All that stuff dies. Sooner or later, you've got to change. If you don't change, you die.
Thanks. Thanks, EK. That's what Todd was saying as well. But you got to be paying attention to understand that it's happening.
Yeah.
Right? You got to understand that the world is changing. I think everybody saw it. It might have been too late for for the Johnsons. Let's go to Rick. Rick, you're on the Talk Chicago 1690.
I think among black people, we let personal ambition trump group aspirations. That's why we were able to do more. And money it's totally valueless. It's fiat money. It has no value. So what we take real estate is the reason why they call it real estate. So right now we buy things that validate us, that rather than empower us, and that's why we don't have things in Chicago. We've got to get back to that. Buy tools instead of the toys. Let your tools buy your toys. So we got to change the generation. We like to buy accumulating things that give us no value and don't empower us.
I sure love shiny stuff, and I got to stop doing that too, man. All right, let's go to B. B, you're on the Talk Chicago 1690.
Well, Mason, Todd, I quickly listen. These are all terrible, sad things that are happening with Ebony. Excuse me. But my question to us is, what are we going to do about it? I remember that Ebony changed its brand, and then social media hit. So I think there's responsibility there for Johnson Publishing owners after Mr. Johnson. That's it. What are we going to do about it?
All right, well, I'm telling you, we got to figure something out about what we are going to do about it. Like, again, my thing is, who's telling the black story at this point? Right? Like, I feel like Ebony was a chronicler of a different story. So right now, if we leave...
My dad was in Ebony once.
Really?
When the Princess Diana came through County Hospital, and he took her on a tour, and that became a story in Ebony.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Man, he should have brought the Queen of Wakanda, man. But let me say that I think that is one of the things that we have to do is we have to really start thinking about our legacy. Can I point out something about legacy too?
Yes.
Toni Preckwinkle.
What her legacy is?
What is Toni Preckwinkle's legacy going to be? I'm going to keep this up. Because at this point, her legacy with progressives is over. They have,
seems that way that they abandoned her.
They have abandoned her, and I think that this is probably the last time she's going to run, or that was her last election, because who wants to take a chance like that happening again at the county board? So now how does she build her legacy in the black community, right? Because the white people are going to take you from the halls, the Pantheon, and I was just saying, man, maybe it's time for black folks to stop worrying about building white legacies, because when white folks find somebody different, they going. Toni Preckwinkle, don't be Lyndon Johnson Rice, right? Don't let your legacy be written in the Sun-Times.
Right.
Think about how dirty it was for the Sun-Times and the Tribune well, I don't know if the Tribune did, but they published the whole bankruptcy. They published it, all the pages, so you could flow through it. Do we see that for white people? Like white people file for bankruptcy all the daggone time. And I ain't never seen nobody just put every list, every single thing. And I'm trying to help y'all understand. These white people don't love you. They do not love you. Look, Todd, I'm telling you, they will have you at the party. They will feed you. They will let you eat at the table. And the second you slip on the banana peel, they be like, that Negro, I know it.
Yeah, right.
I know it.
I totally agree with you.
Do you think they're gonna keep letting Linda come to the parties?
Oh well, she is a socialite. She has a social standing. And
But do you have a social standing if you don't
her
have
name will take her places. It's just like in Europe where there's a lot of people who are they have titles, but they don't have any money anymore. They don't own mansions or any of that stuff, but they can go certain places.
Okay, well we got to make sure that, like, I don't want to be invited and just be there. I want to be there with the money and the crew.
I'm with you there.
And I'm say, hey yo, I want to go to the rich white people party and have the black crew there, and like, you know how it's in the lunchroom, we all go over because we all rich over here, and we all talk and be like, them old white people over there, they got money, but we got money too. Look, y'all, it's the
Wait a minute, Maynard G. Krebs was a beatnik. That's the one I was thinking. If you look up beatniks, you'll find that they're doing the same thing that your hip hop people are doing.
Hipsters. All right, let's go we got to get out of here. So for Net Flournoy in the newsroom.
No, hip hop, not the hipsters.
Ah, hip hop. Well, we had to talk about that. I don't think you know nothing about hip hop. For Todd Stroger, that's him. You hear him in the background. Right, that's why you don't know nothing about it. Plus, the Wonder Twins, Sonia Escobar and Sonia Tompkins. For all of them, I am the host of the WVON Morning Show. And if you don't like it, you can still tell them. May said, we out of here. Peace.
The talk of Chicago and the voice of the nation is 1690 WVON.
Peace. That's beatnik stuff.
You dig? Yeah, we cool.
Spoken word, that's all beatnik stuff.
I was the power behind the throne, as I said to her in my super flow voice. I am like the sun and the stars and the moon. Let me swoon as I see you and look into your deep blue eyes. I realize that it could have been you, not me, but you. So, pretty lady, what shall we do? I am the free-flowing, good showing, letting people knowing that my name is the one and only Maze Jackson.
Sounds like
give you some action.
beforehand.
I like